Good evening, everyone. Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Education agenda, October 14, 2019. May I have the Pledge of Allegiance of Elda Garcia, Director of Special Education. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Elda. May I have a roll call, please?
Governing Board Member Garcia.
Here.
Governing Board Member De Leon.
Present.
Governing Board Member Hansen.
Here.
Governing Board Member Cuarenta is ill this evening, and Governing Board Member Gomez.
Here. Okay, now we're going to go to approve agenda of October 14, 2019. May I have a motion to approve the regular agenda, approve the regular meeting agenda of October 14, 2019? That was Sonia De Leon. Oh, no, Linda Garcia made the motion. Second was Sonia De Leon. Any questions, any comments? No, none so. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. It passed. They approved. Now we're going to approval of a study session meeting minutes, August 26, 2019. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the study session meeting held on August 26, 2019?
I'll move.
That was Vivian Hansen. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That is Sonia De Leon. Any questions, any comments? None so. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Oh, abstain. Okay. So 3 and 1 abstain. Okay. Now we're going to the approval of the special meeting minutes agenda, August 26, 2019. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting held on August 26, 2019?
I'll move.
That was Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That's Sonia De Leon made a second. Any questions, any comments? None so. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. 3 and 1 abstained. 3 yes, 1 abstain. Now we're going to the approval of study session minutes of August 28, 2019. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the study session meeting held on August 28, 2019?
I'll move.
That's Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That's Vivian Hansen made the second. Any questions, any comments? None so. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. 3 yeas and 1 abstain. Okay, now we're going to the approval of the regular meeting minutes of September 9, 2019. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on September 9, 2019?
I'll move.
That was Linda Garcia made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That's Sonia De Leon made the second. Any questions, any comments? None so. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's 4-0. Okay, now we're going to the board meeting minutes format. Board member Cuarenta is out today, so we're going to move that to our next meeting. So we will not take a vote on that. Now we're going to the reports. Number 1, Student Board Representative Activity Report. Reports on school activities including athletics, academic, and extracurricular activities. The first one would be Jaime Lopez from Paramount High School.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
I believe she needs to have her computer closed and turned off.
Are you typing notes or?
No, I have the information here for the board meeting, so I could use my computer.
If she has the minutes up and she's not looking at any other thing, I believe it's okay because that's the agenda minutes. Does she have the agenda minutes?
I'm not looking at her computer, but you're not supposed to have your phone or your computer on.
If that's in the, is that in the protocol?
Yes, it is.
From what I understand, we are going to have the agenda online, so we are supposed to use technology. We are in the 21st century. Can you
put on your, I can't hear you.
It's on.
It's on, okay.
Yes.
I would make the decision that we are going to be going to the board, to board agendas. So if she has the agenda up and not looking at anything else but the agenda, I would say it's okay. But it has to be only the agenda and not anything else. Thank you. Sorry about that, Jaime.
Good evening, President Gomez, board members, Superintendent Dr. Perez, Executive Cabinet, and audience. My name is Jaime Lopez, and I'm here to represent Paramount High School Senior Campus. As a student representative, I am proud to have this opportunity to share with our community what amazing things are happening at Senior Campus. With the start of the new school year, our students are excited to participate in all of the activities and events here at our school. Our year began with online registration, and we want to Our year began with online registration, and we want to thank all of our faculty and student volunteers who helped us start the year successfully. We welcome Ms. Kraus, our new principal, and our new and returning administrators to our school, assistant principals, Mr. Gutierrez, Mr. Jacobo, Ms. Magafna, and Ms. Yasuhara, as well as our deans, Ms. Diaz, Mr. Faulkner, and Ms. Leonard. Our Lean Crew and ASB welcome class of 2023 to the 3-day Lean Crew orientation and registration. Lean Crew led their mini groups in getting to know you activities, collaborative tasks, and assisting the class of 2023 in learning the pirate way. Just a reminder to all, freshies are friends, not food. Our ASB students have planned and coordinated 2 lawn chair Fridays. Once a month, teachers are encouraged to bring their lunches and lawn chairs out to Pirate Plaza to spend time with the students. A special shout out to our home and hospitality students who made sweet treats to last week's event. Our homecoming dance was a success this year. We held our annual dance in Pirate Plaza, where 600 students attending, including a record-breaking 115 ninth grade students. We also want to take the time to wish good luck to all our high schools where students will take the PSAT and SAT this Wednesday, October 16th. Students, make sure to have a good night's sleep, eat breakfast, and bring your A game for this test. Thank you to our district in providing tests for us. We appreciate all you do. Lastly, here is a quick update for our private sports. Cross Country is prepared for the League Invitational this Thursday, October 17th at Cerritos Regional Park. The football team are continuing their victorious start with a 48-22 over Downing High School. The team will face Warren High School in the hopes of keeping their 6-1 record with another win. Girls tennis will face their league opponents in 3 rounds of competitive play and show that they have the stamina, strategy, and strength to beat the competition. Girls volleyball continue to move forward in their league play with season ending tomorrow, October 15th. Boys water polo continue to compete against our rivals and lost in tournament play last Friday during overtime. The last home game will be on October 29th. We hope to see you at our upcoming sporting events. Go Pirates! Thank you for allowing me to share the activities and events we have started this school year. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Jaime. Now we're going to Morgan Clay. He's Paramount High School West Campus.
Good evening, Board President Gomez, board members, Superintendent Dr. Perez, and Executive Cabinet and audience. My name is Morgan Clay. I represent Paramount High School West Campus. The class of 2023 has had a great start of the school year. We all received our Chromebooks and we are using them on a daily basis in classes. At Paramount High's West Campus, all students proudly wear their IDs on a lanyard each day. It is a great way to ensure safety of students and make lasting connections with each other. This year, our assistant principal, Ms. Hammond, starts morning announcements and delivers them in an exciting way that wakes me up in the morning. We had HOCO proposal contests for homecoming where students competed for the best proposal and then submitted their pictures or videos on our school Instagram account. The winners received 2 free tickets and over 100 freshmen attended the homecoming dance. In addition, this year we have also implemented an administration of justice program through Compton College. Upon completion to this program, students in cohort will have concluded 2 years of college coursework and will earn an 8-day degree in addition to their high school diploma. Lastly, this Wednesday, our campus will be the first to take digital version of PSAT. Good luck to all pirates. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Morgan. Next will be Christopher Carrillo from Buena Vista High School.
Good evening, President Gomez, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Perez. I'm Christopher Carrillo from Buena Vista High School, and it is my pleasure to be here tonight. Although the school year has just begun, we have already gotten a lot of things accomplished. On the first day of school, we were greeted by some new and friendly faces, and we participated in some team-building activities tied to our guidelines for success. In addition to welcoming our new students, we were also joined by 3 new staff members. Dr. Scott joined us as a new assistant principal. Mr. Grisby is our new PE/health teacher, and Mr. Grace is our new language arts teacher/journalism teacher. On September 11th, our ASB students began their partnership with the Life Mentorship Program. Students met with their mentors once a week for 12 weeks. On September 24th, we continued our partnership with Compton College and began a course in theater appreciation. This course is held on Tuesday and Thursday after school and allows students to earn up to 10 credits. On September 25th, we welcomed back our parents to back to school night and had the largest parent turnout in 4 years.
Fantastic.
Last week, we celebrated our students who earned A's, B's, and C's in all their classes with certificates and soda floats. We also continue to recognize our students who are striving to meet high standards on every progress report. On Wednesday, the whole school will be occupied with the PSA or SAT testing. We appreciate the district's support in preparing us for college by offering exams during the school day. Our Free Goals Club went to Boca Chica Beach for the start of the New Year barbecue. Everyone had fun bonding experiences with students and teachers. Saturday's Free Goals, this Saturday Free Goals will head over to Abalone Cove for a hike, and our social worker, Ms. Gray, will be taking a group of students to the Models of Pride at Cal State LA. Our ADVID students have gotten off to a strong college focus. Matthew Botello, our representative from Cerritos College, presented to our ADVID and ASB students regarding the connections between college courses and various career paths. Our student government has gone off to a great start. We have begun running activities every Friday and celebrating our students who have had birthdays in the months of August, September, and October. This month, we have been running a campaign to increase breast cancer awareness, and we will also be holding a door decorating contest for Halloween and a Dia de los Muertos/Day of the Dead celebration. To grow our leadership skills, we will be attending a student leadership development conference provided by CADA hosted in Bellflower next month. We are proud to announce that we are now in pre-production for our new Eagles News Network, or ENN, broadcast, thanks to our collaborative efforts and our graphic and media design, and also our journalism teachers, Mr. Torres and Mr. Gray, and our guidance counselor, Mr. Mendez. Thank you for this opportunity to represent Buena Vista High School, and I wish y'all all a lovely evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Christopher. Next would be Andres Salcedo from Odyssey STEM Academy.
Good morning, evening board, President Gomez, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Perez, Executive Cabinet, and community. My name is Andres Salcedo, and I'm a freshman at Odyssey. Nice to meet you all. The Idea Lab is one of our most used and favorite spaces in the school, especially for those of us who like hands-on projects and creative thinking. We have just finished our third prototype in our Worldcraft unit, where we created a tiny handmade city made of modern structures. In this unit, we learned to measure, design on Rhino, laser cutting, and assembling. With every prototype, our projects got more detailed and precise. I made a fountain made of layers, wood, and wooden rings. I wish I could show you all our work. Everyone did a really good job. One of our newer areas in the school is the 10th grade Environmental Sustainability Complex, or ESC for short. What was interesting to me was that there is a machine known as the aquaponics, which works as a place to give plants the water they need and fertilizer straight to plants from fish in the machine. The ESC teaches science through planting, farming, and cooking. What fascinates me is that the sophomores have already made crates to create raised beds of soil for growing plants. They also already have a compost bin for the soil in which they are going to soon have worms in as well to compost. Sophomores have also already began their mentorships. They got out early this year, and some of them are in preschools, hospitals, museums, aquariums, and a bunch of small businesses all over the community. Freshmen have begun practice phone calls to prepare for cold calling future mentors. I really hope to get an internship in the medical field myself. Odyssey scholars like to have fun too. We are all having a fall dance coming up on November 1st. The main theme of the fall dance is going to be based around fall as well as some Halloween inspiration. ASB is busy planning and advertising our first dance of the year. Thank you for your interest and time. It was a pleasure to meet you all, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Andres. Next will be Carlos Gonzales from Paramount Adult School.
Good evening, President Gomez, member of the board, Superintendent Dr. Perez, Executive Cabinet, and guests. My name is Carlos Gonzales, and I am at an adult school at the Paramount Adult School. I am on the Level 6 EXL program. Thank you for the opportunity to share all the wonderful activities occurring on our site. First, the adult school began. The school year will, as a teacher, welcome the new and returning students. School counselors Lucia Covarrubias has been busy meeting with the students to plan their education goals. She has also made presentations to the ESL classes about goal settings. Additionally, we have already had 4 students pass their USA Citizens test and interview. Congratulations to the new USA citizens, Gloria Maria Cárdenas Tovar, Delia Ruth Chicas, Beatriz Vázquez, and Pascual Mendoza. Moreover, our CTE program began on high notes as the new phlebotomy course began with 24 new students. The medical assistant began module A with 7 new students, and cosmetology began with the 22 students. All their programs are popular in our community. Finally, congratulations to all the students of the month recipients for the month of September. Next, the Paramount Adults Transaction students have been busy as the teachers took the students to on community based on instructions activities to the city library, the local fire departments and the sheriff departments. In addition, Mr. Alonso and Ms. Preciados classes visited the Los Angeles Science Center and took a walking tour of the interactive exhibits as well. As viewing live demonstrations, Mr. Butler and Ms. Alfaro took their students to the Angels Gate State Park in St. Peter, where they learned about the rich history of the Friendship Bell. Finally, the Community Day school program began smoothly. The school counselor, Ms. Chavarrias, and teacher, Mr. Weller, took 5 students on the college field trip to Cerritos College. They learned about the various programs being offered at the Cerritos College. All 5 students were excited about the possibility of attending the college. As you can see, there are many wonderful things happening at the Paramount Adult School. PAT and CDS, PAT and CDS, thanks you everyone and have a great evening.
Yeah. Thank you, Carlos. And with that, all the students may go home since they have to go to school tomorrow. But thank you for coming, and we want to hear more next month. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda will be Employee Representative Report, reports on contractual issues and/or items of interest to bargaining unit members. Is Kim Goforth here?
My old student. Makes me happy. Good evening, President Gomez, School Board, Dr. Perez, Executive Cabinet, and guests. Our bargaining team is back at the table without me, fortunately, and we have a lot to discuss. Having the whole contract open makes for a long process. However, we look forward to the district and working with the district and the school board for the best contract for our teachers, students, and community. However, I'm concerned since as I sit here over the past year, I have heard members of this board and some of the outsiders that come and speak here speak ill of our students, complain about our schools and our teachers. So I want to challenge you to come and visit our schools. Our teachers are amazing and are doing fantastic things for our children. As president, I do get to go and visit schools, and at every school I visit, I see the commitment and the love the employees of this district have for this community. I'm not going to lie, this month has been difficult. We as a district have had some incidences that have not been positive. But as Paramount has done before, and we always do, we came together. And I want to thank the district for keeping the lines of communication open. I reached out after our incident at the high school to Dr. Perez and asked her if we can sit down and have a conversation. And she was more than willing to find time to sit down with me so I can address the concerns that my members had, ideas and possible solutions that we came up with. And I thank you for that. My members have also told me at the high school that the principal, Mrs. Krause, has communicated with them and they feel informed about the situation, and we also appreciate that as well. Last week, I went to a leadership conference, a National Education Leadership Conference in DC, and I was there with new presidents from all over the nation. There was just 2 of us from California. And I have to say, we have it so much better than anywhere else in this country. And what I got from it is that when we work together, when education works best when we work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Is there anybody from CA rather? No? No one? Okay. Thank you. Now we have board members' reports on visits to schools, conferences attended, or scheduled meetings. So we'll go with Board Member Garcia.
Good evening. First thing I want to say is congratulations to our teacher from Paramount Park, Miss Felicia. Won't even try her last name. And it's just wonderful to see that she was one of the top 16 teachers in the LA County district. And that is very something special. And that just goes to prove how hard our teachers do work. I did attend the college fair over at Paramount High School, and it was great. There was so many students there. It was amazing. We have a lot of awesome students. They were all lined up. And what was also nice at the college fair was that they had a census table there for kids to come and get the papers, to take to their parents, explain to them what the census was about. So that was very good, and I'm sure informative for some of the parents that don't know that they need to do this, to keep count of everybody here. I did attend the meet and greet at Starbucks with the Paramount Sheriffs, which was nice. A lot of people turned out there, and I was able to talk with a couple of the sheriffs there, and we discussed the problem that happened over at Paramount High School and how maybe how things went, what went wrong, and if there's anything that we can do to change it. And I also want to say that I got a lot of great things about our principal there and how she handled everything. I think she's just going to be a superwoman there, which we need. And that's it.
Thank you, Board Member Garcia. Now I'll go to Board Member De Leon.
Good evening, and thank you for being here on a Monday night. I know it's tough. Usually nobody likes to go back to work on a Monday, but I'm just happy to report that I was able to go visit Alondra Middle School for back to school night, and I can't say enough about the school, the principal there. Everyone's awesome. We know that without you, our students wouldn't succeed, and I'm just hoping that as a board member, I'm here to support you. We want to look at data and see what we need or what we don't need and make those changes based on our data. And tomorrow, I'm going to be a guest speaker at the Paramount Adult School. So I'm excited to meet our community members that speak Spanish and they're learning English. So my presentation will be bilingual. So I hope it goes well. So the next time I come, I hope to report on how it went. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Board Member De Leon. Now we'll go to Board Member Hansen.
Thank you. It's been a really busy month, and I can't believe we're in the middle of October, and the holidays are fast approaching. I'd like to thank the superintendent for the report on the incidents that took place at the high school campus a couple of weeks ago. After Dr. Perez met with administration, law enforcement, campus security, and others, we have a clearer picture of what transpired, other than what was reported on the news and social media. Lessons were learned, and the students that were involved were dealt with. I participated in the lockdown drill at Collins Elementary. I was with a class of kindergarten students who handled the exercise very calmly. After the lockdown was lifted, I visited a 5th grade class to see how the students and teachers debriefed after the exercise. The teacher explained and showed the students the emergency kits and the emergency supplies, and the students started asking, of course, what happens if this is a real emergency? And so the teacher was answering the questions. I saw the remodeled office facilities. What a difference. It's always been very congested, and it's more welcoming for parents and much better for staff. I want to thank Ruben, Cindy, and Scott for the hard work. I also attended open houses at Keppel and Hollydale. I met with PTA parents, visited classrooms. I spent time in a 1st grade class. I haven't done that in a long time. At Mrs. Woods, it was awesome to watch the parents and the students and hear all the wonderful things that were going to happen. Then I visited 3rd grade classes. And also the remodel at Keppel School is incredible. That place has always been congested and quite ugly. And the staff is they're very proud and very happy with the changes. I attended open house at West Campus. I visited the culinary and music appreciation classrooms and talked with the parents and teachers. The culinary program has grown since the beginnings, and I was pleased to see all the new equipment that's been purchased. Thank you, Ruben. And I sat through a 9th grade math class presentation with a teacher who's using the Carnegie Math Algebra program, and heard his enthusiasm for that program. And I also talked with students regarding the AVID program. I've been attending the home football games, and our team is doing quite well, and they're getting a lot of positive press, which is always great news for Paramount, especially our quarterback and our coach. And there's only 3 more games left, and I really feel confident we're headed for a CIF championship. Yep, absolutely. You know, I always say when you have a woman principal at the high school, the kids do really well. I remember way back when they won 3 CIF championships in a row, and that was when Maureen Sanders was here. Legislative also worked on behalf of the board bylaws with Yesenia and the California School Board representatives, and I want to thank all of you who gave your time for the project. Legislatively, it's been pretty interesting. I was quite disappointed that the governor vetoed Patrick O'Donnell's bill, AB 751, Pathways to College Act, to allow school districts to offer free college admission tests like the SAT in lieu of the 11th grade state test. I hope Patrick will bring it back again. I'm pleased that Dr. Perez and the previous board made the decision to offer free tutoring, preparation, and test taking for our students to prepare them for college admission. The SAT results have more relevance for our students in the 11th grade, and I hope we'll always preserve the program. The governor did sign a $15 million school facilities bond for the 2020 ballot, but he also signed something that may have far-reaching effect on districts, teachers, staff, and especially parents. Local control of start times for middle and high schools is now mandated by the state, not by the local districts. This will affect PHS and PHS West. And this new law is saying that that PHS West and PHS High School cannot start before 8:30. It becomes effective July 2022. Staff and parents are going to have to address many issues like childcare and work starting times. I want to congratulate Felicia and also the $1,000 check that she got from LA County. That was awesome. And now she goes on for state. Is that correct?
So.
No? Does she? How does that work?
You turn on your...
Oh.
In looking into that, we actually did look into that, and apparently we don't learn more until November.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought that the county ones then went on to state. No?
I think my understanding is that they are all pushed forward, and some of them rise to the top of that. And
That's
that
great.
Ultimately, they'll
We're so
select
proud of
2
her. That
from
was
LA
awesome.
County.
I also serve on the Health and Welfare Committee, and we received our renewal rates for health and welfare, and they're quite low, and that's good. We also had an opportunity to talk with the doctor over at our P3 clinic, and it's being well used, and that's keeping our people healthy. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Board Member Hansen. Now it's my turn. I attended the 3rd annual district-wide K-12 College Fair 2. There were over 30 college representatives, and it was well attended. I actually stopped at each booth and listened to what they offer, and it was I was very happy to see so many students interested in stopping and finding out, and there was parents there. There was a census, as Board Member Garcia mentioned. I'm hoping that we can get the census young lady, I have her card, to come in and give us a presentation, at least a study session, so you can find out how important it is to do the census, because that's where we get funds for our district also, is through the census. So hopefully we can contact her and bring her in. This coming Friday and Saturday, I will be attending the Master Governance Course 3 and 4, which covers school finance and human resources and collective bargaining. Then the following Saturday, I will be attending course number 5, which will be covering community relations and advocacy and governance integration. I plan on learning as much as possible and also networking with as many school districts as possible. Usually other school districts have different programs that we can bring to Paramount, and sometimes we have programs that they will take there. So we collaborate, we talk about what's going on in the different districts. Also on October 29th, I will be having a town hall meeting. I hope everybody can attend. Those listening on YouTube, hopefully you can attend too. Regarding the incident that happened on Friday, the principal there did an awesome job. I've heard pure praises on her. Dr. Perez also did an awesome job, but I think we need to get everyone together, which is the whole community, which is parents, students, teachers, and administration there, in order to talk to see about solutions. Sometimes people have other solutions that we don't know about, and some parents or some students don't know exactly what happened. They have a different story. So if we could all just come together and work together, we are a team, we're a village. We need to all collaborate together to make this work and make it a better place. Paramount is a wonderful place, but we can make it that much better. Also, I would like to congratulate Board Member De Leon. She actually finished her 5 courses in Master in Governance, and she's actually highlighted in this Master Governance from the California School and Youth September 2019 from the California School Board Association for finishing those classes. So congratulations. And with that said, I'm going to pass it to the superintendent's report. Reports on visits to schools, conferences attended, and legislation, meetings and/or activities scheduled throughout the district, recognition and accommodations.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, board members. This evening, we have one last administrator who was ill at the last board meeting, and we were not able to introduce him to you, board members. You approve the appointment of the assistant principal at Paramount Senior Campus, Mr. Marvin Gobbo. As he makes his way forward, board members, Mr. Gobbo received his bachelor's degree in Spanish and his master's degree in administration from Cal State University, Long Beach. He was hired as a teacher in 2006 at Centinela Valley Union High School District and then became a dean of students at Hawthorne High School. In 2013, Mr. Gobbo worked as an assistant principal, a middle school principal, and then chief operations officer at Los Angeles Leadership Academy. And for a short time, he returned to the classroom when positions were eliminated. For the past 2 years, Mr. Gobbo has served as an assistant principal at El Rancho High School and El Rancho Unified School District. He is known for his extensive background in the area of social, emotional, behavioral support for students. His experience has provided staff with invaluable guidance as they develop fair practices and intervention supports for students. We welcome Mr. Marvin Gobbo as secondary assistant principal of Paramount High School Senior Campus.
Thank you, Dr. Perez. Good evening, President Gomez, board members, Superintendent Dr. Perez, and executive cabinet and audience. My name is Marvin L Gobbo. I'm proud to serve this community and our campus. I've been there over a month and a half. Yes, there were some challenges, but opportunities as well for us. A little bit about myself. I'm the first in my family to attend college and graduate from college. I did not take the traditional route to go straight to a 4-year university. I actually went to junior college first, and then I had the opportunity to transfer to Cal State Long Beach. From there, 2 of my sisters also graduated from college, so I see the importance and the impact that it does make. In high school, I was an avid student. I did have the opportunity to be an avid tutor and an avid teacher for 4 years, where 98% of my students graduated and went on to a 4-year university straight out of high school. I take a lot of pride in that, and I hope I can bring that and my experience to serve the community, the students and parents. Thank you.
Your family? Would you like to introduce your family?
My family's not here, but I'm married. I have 3 kids. My wife stays at home with them. She works full-time, as she constantly reminds me. We have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So they are at home right now. They were not available today.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, board members, I'd like to request that everyone put their microphones on, because even though we have the opportunity to turn it on and off, we've realized in the recordings that sometimes a speaker may think that they have it on, but they don't have it on, and then we lose what was said. So if everyone, including executive staff members, put their microphones on and keep it on, we're going to have to do that to ensure that everyone's comments are recorded. Board members, our bulletin boards are being decorated and demonstrating the work that is being done at Alondra Middle School. And here this evening to talk to you a little bit about these beautiful bulletin boards in here from Alondra is our principal, Lynn Butler, and assistant principal, Andrea Aguilar. And I see a dolphin in the back, too. I think that belongs to the Dolphins, too.
To the microphone.
Okay, good evening, Board President Gomez, members of the board, Dr. Perez, Executive Cabinet, our fantastic audience tonight, our students, teachers, staff members, family, and community members. We are the Alondra Adventures, and tonight, our mission begins and ends by explaining to you a top secret plan. This plan was orchestrated by our very own teacher superheroes. This plan protects, builds relationships, and empowers student superhero success. Now, to begin, Gabriel Garcia, also known as Thor, will single-handedly model how our mission begins. Take it away, Thor.
Our top secret plan begins with Good Things. Good Things is a special tool we use to share positive moments in our lives, which can encompass school and home life. Our mission is time sensitive, so we are calling on two of our superheroes at Alondra. Who would like to share a good thing? Rebecca.
I received a B on my social studies test.
Rebecca, how'd you do that?
In class, we made a study guide, and I went home and studied that every day. We did crosswords in class, we did word scrambles, and I went over that.
Who else would like to share a good thing? Mrs. Beakenbrock.
So my good thing this past week, I completed my second to last master's class, and today I started my last and final master's class.
Excellent, congratulations, Mrs. Beakenbrock. Thanks so much for sharing. Alondra Middle School's top secret plan will now be passed on to tonight's language arts student ambassador.
My name is Shalina Ardetta, and I'm a 7th grade Alondra superhero. We certainly know the power of the written word and are always engaged in the ELA writing process. Our teachers are more than our sidekicks, as they're always coming to the rescue to help make Alondra students become powerful writers. Our creative superheroes continue to shine on this book. Now we pass the top secret plan to tonight's math student ambassador. My name is Angela Mustard, and I'm a 7th grade Alondra student. Math position that Alondra has been by mathematical reasoning of others, which is evident by encouraged to have a growth mindset when completing rigorous tasks. After all, we need to build in the state. I will pass the top secret plan to my science student. My name is Jacob Rodriguez, and I'm a 7th grade Alondra superhero. In social studies, we have the superpower of time travel. With this power, we returned to the Neolithic age and learned about agricultural revolution, as you can see on the bulletin board. Other superheroes have traveled back to witness the glory of the Roman Empire and created digital thinking maps to organize their ideas and create written responses using ACE for students. Answer questions, cite evidence, and explain their answers. Near or far, Alondra superheroes will go the extra mile to show off their super running skills. Now I'll pass the top secret down to tonight's elected student.
My name is Rebecca Vallejo, and I am a 6th grade Alondra superhero. The many electives offered at Alondra give me extra special superpowers to our students. As shown on the bulletin board located in the hallway, Project Lead the Way designed and modeling students create a solution to medically limiting diseases, while our art superheroes applied principles of motion to create their own superheroes. Our elective courses are fun and engaging, but our superheroes know they are expected to work hard and take pride in everything they do at Alondra Middle School. Now I will pass the top secret plan to a fellow student ambassador who will be showcasing unity at Alondra Middle School.
Makes the dream work!
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to thank my team of superheroes for making this mission possible tonight. And as you can see, teamwork does make the dream work.
I think we need to have all the parents of these wonderful students. Please stand. Come on. And do we have more of your teachers here from the school? Oh, come on, up. Teachers, up. Come on. Thank you.
Thank you. And we can excuse our students because these wonderful, smart students, because we want them to continue to be smart and do well in school by getting a good night's rest, having their homework accomplished, and getting up early for breakfast. How's that? So thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dolphins. Lindo. Board members, this month I attended an ad hoc meeting with the city of Paramount. As you know, board members, I serve as your liaison for the city on this ad hoc meeting, as well as 2 board members. And at this last meeting, there was a request made by the city of Paramount that I'd like to read to you for your consideration. The city of Paramount is requesting use of the PHS West softball fields for an 8-week period to conduct a pilot adult softball program. The PHS West fields are essential to operate this program. The city's current ball fields, while large enough for youth baseball and youth softball, are not large enough to accommodate adult softball. The city would operate the program during the months of February and March. Only games, not practices, only games would be conducted at the PHS West fields, and all games would be on Thursday evenings after 5 p.m. City staff would be present pre-game for field setup, during games for supervision, and post-game cleanup, which would include field maintenance, such as field dragging. Initially, due to the need for ball field lights, all games in February will be on the baseball field at PHS West, but will move over to the softball fields in March. We anticipate, the city does, establishing a minimum of 5 teams to operate the league. There will be a $300 charge per team that will offset the city's staff and equipment costs to start and operate the league. Alcohol use or aggressive behavior by any players will result in the forfeit by the team with the players engaged in this behavior. I ask for clarification, and also, and alcohol will not be allowed for anyone that may go to enjoy the game. All players will be required to wear turf shoes or shoes with plastic cleats. Metal cleats will not be allowed. I asked today as well about bathrooms, and apparently in the past there is a bathroom in the back that has been utilized that students do not utilize, and that would be the bathroom that the city would use. So again, this is a request for adults in our community to play softball, and the city would like to do a pilot to see how that would work on our site. And I shared that I would bring that to the Board of Education for your consideration. If the board wishes to approve this request by the city, I would direct Mr. Frutos to work with the city to change our MOU with the city, our JPA, that would allow them to conduct these games on site. My only recommendation as your superintendent is, if the board wishes to allow this to happen, that we explicitly state in the JPA that our youth needs and our youth programs are first and foremost.
Absolutely.
And I had a question about that the players would be, the majority of them would be Paramount residents.
Yes.
Or Paramount Unified School District residents. Okay.
They are.
Yeah. I have no problem with it. I think that anytime we have a partnership with the city and our residents, I think it's a good thing. And it's a pilot, and we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. I feel the same. Board Member Garcia?
I'm fine with that.
Board Member De Leon?
I'm fine.
So we'll make a motion, and it's been approved 4-0, so fantastic.
Okay.
And looking forward to seeing that softball, the adult softball team.
Great. Thank you, board members. Just a few other things I wanted to share with you. There was as one board member shared, there was a bill that was signed by the governor on early morning start time. And basically, it starts in 2 years, as a board member mentioned. I received a call this morning from Patrick O'Donnell and was able to ask him a few questions about the bill. What this bill entails is that high schoolers would not be able to start school any earlier than 8:30 in the morning. And middle school would not be able to start school any earlier than 8 o'clock in the morning. For our district, it's not that much of an adjustment because currently we have 8 o'clock as a start time overall. So I think it's about a 25-minute difference that we'll have to adjust with our high school students. Obviously, there are other districts that start school as early as 7:15 and 7:30, so they're going to have some major changes. But we do have 2 years to make those adjustments. And another thing is that the zero morning period classes for students that are optional at the high school level will still be allowed. So because that is something voluntary. And as you know, that's an important piece to this because we have many students that take an early class or a late class after sixth period in order to accommodate certain classes during the day, like an extra art class or, you know, some type of pathway class that they want to participate in, but they can't fit it into their schedule. So they move other classes that may be offered during zero period so they have time during the school day to be able to take those classes. So that also will still be allowed. So I don't see this as much as a problem for the Paramount Unified School District as it will be for other districts that start extremely early in the morning. And as you mentioned, Patrick was very disappointed, as was I, that the governor did not sign the SAT bill, but we're not giving up on this. We're going to continue to move forward. And there are many, many reasons why we advocate to replace the SAT with the SBAC. One of them is the meaningfulness of the SBAC to 11th graders. Obviously, the SAT for our students is more meaningful and impactful for them, so our students put more time and heart and soul into doing well on the SAT versus the SBAC, which doesn't have that much significance for them to do well. And the other reason is because having just one measure of assessment for students, for colleges and universities to look at whether students are qualified or career ready brings forward an equity issue with our students. Because if you just look at grades, at GPA, we may have students that may not have high GPAs. We may have students that may not do well on the SBAC, but you give them an SAT and they do extremely well. So you have a broader picture of students that have the potential to do well in college, and we appreciate that. So we're going to continue to advocate for the SAT, and I encouraged Assemblymember O'Donnell to continue to fight for us in that arena. I also wanted to share with you, we had a wonderful college fair. I know it was mentioned, but I want to have the opportunity to do a great shout out to our counselors, our teachers that participated in this event. Mr. Francois, Dr. Francois, who coordinates this with the counselors. We had almost 30 or more universities and colleges represented in the gym. And unlike other districts, we open it up to kindergarten through 12th grade. And I have to provide a shout out to our teachers that are so creative, our elementary teachers and middle school teachers who give their students an assignment that if they go and they get brochures from all the colleges and universities there, and they seek out the superintendent and take a picture for verification that they were there, they receive credit, extra credit. And that is so creative. We had elementary students there at the college fair as well as middle school students. So I just have to do a shout out to our creative teachers for providing that. And as you know, this was our third, right? Our third annual college fair. And finally, I met with Ms. Ochoa, as I shared with you all in the Wednesday report, who represents the U.S. Census in Paramount. This lovely, lovely, lovely young lady is actually a resident here in Paramount. She went to the Catholic school here in Paramount and has a heart for Paramount. And I met with her, and I have scheduled her. She was at the open house at the senior campus. She was at the college fair. She is going to be at our principal meeting tomorrow and speaking to all of our principals, and we're going to book her to be at every school, have a representative there, and have all of the materials that she has available sent home, put on the website. But I have a personal and passionate commitment to engage as many parents as we can on this U.S. Census, because it is money that comes back to this community, and it's also money that is available to students in Pell Grants, believe it or not. So it is really critical that our families know and have access to a computer if they want to use a computer to fill out the census form. We want to open our schools to make that possible for parents and make them feel safe in the process, that nobody is going to follow up and hurt them in any way or provide information that we're not allowed to provide. So I'm saying that on purpose, since we're, having this meeting aired, that it is very important for parents, families, to fill out the census and also to record their babies, their children, because one of the things that Ms. Ochoa shared with me is that a lot of families did not report their babies in the census for I guess for whatever reason, but that each member of a family is worth about $1,800. So over 10 years, that is a family of 4 could be worth $80,000 that eventually would all come back to that community and would come back to our students. So that's why I think this is something very critical, and we will continue to send that message to our families. And I believe that is all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Perez. Now under communications, we have a guest speaker from the Adventist Health Glendale Foundation. She will be speaking on regarding vaping. She works for, I believe she works also, Alicia, right? I believe, yes, Alicia. She reached out to us because she's working with the Department of Public Health, I believe it is.
Yes.
And collaborating with them to give us awareness on vaping and how it affects, schools. So.
Correct.
Go ahead.
So good evening, President Gomez, the school board, school president, Dr. Perez, also members of the board, executive cabinet, and audience. Like President Gomez mentioned, my name is Alicia Tamayac, and this is Freddy Velasquez. We're working with Adventist Health Glendale Foundation in a partnership with the Department of Public Health, bringing awareness about the increasing epidemic of youth, awareness about youth access to tobacco products. And today we're going to bringing this overview of this presentation that we want to take to the schools, to the kids, and also to parents. So let me go forward. Freddie, do you want to say something? Okay, so, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. This is just a little video that there's so many more videos going on. But it's just to give you an idea of the marketing that is going on.
Look what I've got. Chocolate. But you won't believe this. Dulce de leche.
No se vayan a llenar de dulces. We're having dinner soon.
You just missed the tobacco industry's latest scam.
Look what I've got. Chocolate.
Because you were supposed to.
But you won't believe this. Dulce de leche.
No se vayan a llenar de dulces. We're having dinner soon.
They're using flavors kids love to hook them.
So what you just saw is just an example of the different flavors they're using right now to hook kids into different tobacco products that are, they're in the market right now. So And why does it matter that we are talking about this? Because like I mentioned before, there's an epidemic, and you probably have seen it in TV right now. There is a lot of kids and teens are getting into like the hospitals, and there is a lot of problems going on, health problems that we have to consider. And so what we're gonna show the teens and schools and also parents is the different flavors and the different products that are in the market right now. So the Surgeon General called for an aggressive steps to protect the children from these highly potent products that are in risk exposing a new generation of young people to nicotine. So also the risk in high schools that are increasing. The majority of people that are using vape use flavored tobacco because it hides the harsh from tobacco. So now it's becoming more trendy. Also, there are approximately 1,500 different flavors in the market today. And you can see the different type of, the different flavored products, like the electronic cigarettes, the vape pens, and the pod mods, which are the 4 in that line right here, which are very easy to hide from parents.
The one I want to make more focus on is the one that's called the Pods Jewel. That's the one that's been found in the high schools more because it looks like a USB drive, and it's for the teachers and the principals. Those are not really something that you see and right away say that's something that they're using. So there's a thing going on in school where there's a little game that the students play with the teachers. If they could get the teacher to charge it for them by saying, "Can you please charge my USB? I have a presentation on there." It's a little game, a little like way to kind of like poke fun at it. Like, you don't know what we have kind of situations. That's the main focus right now for this high schools. But the other ones are examples of what's going on in the outside market right now.
See, these are our other examples of different flavored products like cigars, little cigars, cigarillos, also chewing tobacco, and the bottom one is shisha or hookah tobacco, which is also in a different form. And these are the ones that are more concerning because it looks like candy. Many of the ones in the top usually looks like the nerd candy and that the kids are buying in the store. So it looks so similar to it that it's very easy to hide. So many of these flavors are targeting kids because of the way they're called. Usually we can hear some of them are candy, some of them are bubble gum. Like you see the video before, dulce de leche, what do you think is targeting? So those are the things that you can see in the flavored tobacco.
So Jewel is one of the main concerns right now because there's the sleekness of the design that is presented to people. Pretty much the way it works is it uses a battery and a special electric coil that heats up the e-liquid. That's the orange pod right there. So some of them are not flavored, but most of them are flavored because the underlining of these products is the nicotine. Because a lot of people forget that it contains the nicotine. And the reason why people do is because they want the nicotine effects in their body. And the nicotine literally starts irritating the throat. So the flavors, the menthol, bubblegum flavors, those flavors hide the bad effects in your throat. It makes it more tolerable, more pleasant.
But actually, let me just mention something else. Actually, the pot of this jewel, it contains one of those pads is equal of a whole package of cigarettes.
So So these are statistics about cigars. These are also used by teens, but it just gives you like an understanding about cigars and other products. The little cigarillos are smaller versions of it. These are just statistics by the CDC from recent this year that there's some second common flavor tobacco used in the youth. And in 2015, 80% of the adolescents use these cigarillos in the past 30 days since the study has been done.
Also, this smokeless tobacco also contains 28 carcinogens that can cause it's not just affecting your lungs, it's also affecting your gums. And there's cancers, different cancers, the mouth, the tongue, the cheeks, the throat, the stomach, pancreas, kidney, and bladder. So there's other types of cancers that can be affected because of the use of this type of products. Also, hookah, like I mentioned, is also associated with cancers, and a lot of the people that start smoking usually it starts with menthol, just because of again what we mentioned, the flavor. And these are like just some of the chemicals that we will, also introduce the information to the kids that is containing all this type of flavors.
So, like for example, like the first section, I know it's pretty small, but it gives you an idea of what they put in those jewel pods, and the flavoring are equivalent to Kool-Aid, Coca-Cola, Jolly Ranchers, Lifesavers. So they try their best to get as close as possible to those flavors because, again, they try to tap into our memories of flavor when we're growing up. We remember Cocoa Pebbles. We remember little candies as kids as we grow up. So they tap into that back of our minds that remembers that. And that's another tactic to grab the youth, get them vaping again. And the sad part is that a lot of the kids are starting vaping, and a lot of people have the misconception that they start smoking first, then they move on to vaping, but it's a straight shot to the vaping.
Also, tobacco manufacturers use price point and smaller packages sizes to make tobacco products affordable and intriguing to youth. You can easily find little cigars in a pack of sizes like 2 or 3 for sale to under $1 or $1. One thing cities can do to protect the youth is to require minimum prices for tobacco products and a minimum pack sizes for products in their tobacco retail license.
Again, this is a cheaper alternative to introduce flavor because jewel pods and jewel starter kits start at around $30, $40 a kit, and then the pods itself they cost upwards of $20 each. Kids have jobs or get money, they go towards that, or they buy it underground, or from the students themselves.
So associations of electronic cigarette nicotine concentration with subsequent cigarette smoking and vaping levels in adolescents. These are some of the flavor chemicals contained in, and like I said, why we are so concerned about the flavor. And as you can see,
these little bottles are the ones that they use to mix in. They mix their own flavors in the bigger modules that you see in the bigger smoke. That they use. They get to choose and pick the flavors at the vape shops, and that's another side of the flavoring of the mod.
And another thing that we really want to make sure that we let the kids know is about the harms to the brain. In order to understand how nicotine works, we must discuss an important neurotransmitter by the name acetylcholine. The acetylcholine is, the nicotine mimics the acetylcholine, the structure of the acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter in our body, and binds to whatever there are in the acetylcholine receptors in the brain. However, since nicotine is not actually acetylcholine, it affects acetylcholine binding and prevents it from doing its job in the brain. So we know that the kid's brain is developing until they're 25. So it's easier for them to become addicted to any of these products if they're starting to do this, if they're starting to use this before they're 25. That's why it's very important for them to learn how this nicotine works in their brain.
So in simpler terms, nicotine hijacks the reward center in your brain when you exercise, when you eat good food, the reward system that your brain acquires. So the nicotine hijacks that and gives you that quick happy feeling of stress relief. That's one of the main reasons a lot of students are vaping, because of the nicotine de-stresses them. And that's the dangerous part, because they'll continue to do that until the health effects later in life will affect it, because this whole vaping and the flavors are still new or still have not been strongly studied. So we still don't know the effects, but there's a lot in the news about the deaths, the lung collapsing from the recent teens. There've been a lot of reports of these already happening. So we're trying our best here to get this started, because we don't want to wait like the tobacco industry from the 1950s, where now adults have holes in their lungs, throats, so many different kinds of cancers.
And also, you know, the mood swing, you know, that you can see is not, you know, it's not easy with a teenager already than in a teenager with an addiction. How do you think it's going to be? It's even going to change their mood even worse. Also, we talk about the different parts that affects in your body. The nicotine affects in your body. It gives you, you know, faster response in your heart. Again, your lungs, the damage to your lungs, acid reflect in your stomach, and so many other things
So this is my favorite part, because this is something that a lot of us are already eat and purchase at the movie theaters or in stores. So diacetyl is a chemical that they use in the popcorn facilities to flavor popcorn. So a lot of the workers were getting a lot of scarring in their lungs because they're inhaling this chemical. So that's where the term comes from, popcorn lung, because that's one of the main ingredients and all the flavorings to use as a base to go from there to add and clean up the flavors. So so a lot of this is using Chardonnay and butter popcorn. So it does harm the lungs and gives you that effect of, again, popcorn lung. So Harvard did a study in 2015 that showed about 75% of almost all flavored liquids tested contain that main chemical. These studies are from 2015. So they found out that 80% of U.S. middle and high school students who have ever used a tobacco started with a flavored product. 80% of current users have used a flavored e-cigarette, and they found that 70% current cigar users have used a cigar. So 79% of the current hookah users have used flavored hookah. So the main thing here is the flavor, because if you smoke anything or burn anything in your lung, is literally just smoke and tar and nasty effects. So that the flavor is what gives that mask and makes it easier. The user will ignore that fact that all these different conditions.
So how can we protect the kids from flavored tobacco? And this is one of the things that we are coming here to you to make you aware, and also by teaching the community about these problems. And so we're asking for tobacco retail licenses to prohibit the sale of tobacco products, or establishing a minimum cost on the packet sizes for tobacco products, and restricted and near like schools or parks. So this is just some ideas of things that we can do. And especially in the schools, it's very important to bring the information, not just to the kids, but to the parents. Okay.
So this is just one of many slides and information. With the partnership with the Public Health Department, we can provide this information more to the community and to the school, and hopefully we can work with the students and for the teachers and grow more awareness and have stronger regulations, rules. I was told in another district we're working in that the sheriffs have no power to do anything in the streets when they see underage kids smoke. You have to ignore that. But in the schools, they suspend them, they take away their jewels, but it's not really a solution. Because the education is the most important part, is to let them be aware and make their own decisions and the consequences that come with it. So with your support in the community, we could continue these efforts and see what we could do. And we also do offer volunteer services for the high school students moving on to college and anything in the medical field. We give them like a letter of recommendation from the public health department or from our hospital. And they can see the inner workings of policy change and the systematic work of the public health department, how they work and how they bring these issues. And they can learn in them, because that's how I got into this. I have my master's in public health because I really did have a concern about obesity and different health problems that I faced growing up in the valley, and asking myself, how can I change? How can I help my community by educating them and by going to school and coming here today and presenting to you, to the board members in the community.
Exactly. So, and I know that in the community, the Hispanic community, we also need to be aware that a lot of our kids are with the grandparents, and a lot of times the grandparents really haven't seen this product. So they're really not aware of the things that happen. A lot of times they're being taken care of by a grandparent. So those are the things that we also have to be aware. It's just not just the parents. I mean, it's a family, it's a community that we need to be aware of the problem. So this is our presentation. I don't know if you have any questions or any concerns that we can address right now, or.
I had a couple of comments. Jewel is spending a lot of money on advertising.
Yes,
I mean, my gosh, yeah. And I recently heard on the news and read in the newspaper that there are now 28 deaths associated with Jewel.
So
that's very scary.
Yeah, exactly. San Francisco is one of the major cities that banned the flavors. And recently, LA County did the same. I think it's about 180 days for them all stores to comply to ban the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just not a small, we're continuing the efforts and continue to grow, because a lot of parents don't know. A lot of students just continue.
Mm-hmm.
And each city has to be aware of also.
Absolutely. That was my next question. Have you approached the city, because they're the folks that can make the regulations that
Correct.
that you're talking about here?
So
First of all,
what
we
we're
need
doing
to
right now,
educate
we're just new into the city. We're gathering information to bring forward to the city council, and we have talked to the residents and gathering their opinions and their concerns over this issue. And so hopefully in a few months or next year, we'll gather more information. We have a stronger presentation with the support of the community, hopefully with the support of you guys. We can make a change in Paramount and protect our youth and continue this education.
That's great. Have we come up with any plans that how we're going to present this information that you want to share with us?
What we have at this time is a list of resources that the Los Angeles County Office of Education has recently provided, and we do have a timeline of when we are presenting to several groups within the system. And Dr. San Miguel is here. He could share a little bit more about that, because he and I met not too long ago to discuss that timeline. Would you like to come forward and share with them? But we would love to partner with you also and join forces to be able because there are a lot of different audiences to reach. The most important one is our students, obviously, in the schools, but then also our families, parents, as well as grandparents, as you said, about the dangers of vaping.
Yes, I did recently receive a lot of this information, or some of it, not all of the same information, in a meeting that I attended, a LACO meeting. And what I did is I put together a communication plan that we intend to send out to our information and resources that we intend to send out to our parents, our students, and our staff. And to also make sure that we look into the possibility of having our LACO staff, and they have some identified now at LACO specifically to address this issue, come out and do some presentations for our staff, our counselors, our social workers, and even our administrators. So we have put together a plan. I provided that plan to Dr. Perez, who asked me to put it together. And we are actually starting as early as tomorrow to go out to our principals and give them some of the resources that we received from LACO.
Super. And you're going to work with these folks
Yes,
also, correct?
we can work
Yeah.
together in making sure that we're getting this information out to our parents, to our students, and to our administrators.
You have to build a strong response from the voice of the community. It's not only us, but we need to gather the community on their behalf.
And would it be all
We're
right?
happy to
Oh,
be a
good.
resource for you guys. Where like we mentioned before, we can do this presentation. We can get into more information to the parents. We also brought some other information. We have left it on the table. We have more brochures that we can send out or flyers that we can provide so that we can send it to the community. And we're also asking like Freddie mentioned, any volunteers like from the parents, they want to volunteer to get together with us and pretty much reach out to all the community, because this is very important, and we're really working we want to work together with you guys to get a hold of this problem.
Yeah. Would it be all right if I share your information with the cities, your contact information, so they could call you and maybe set up something?
Yes.
That's like I said again, we're in the beginning stages.
Okay.
So it's going to take time to gather this information and bring a strong response.
But we can do also a presentation with you.
Thank you.
So we can give you, I know President Carmen has my information, so we can also send it to you. Right, thank you.
Thank you both for coming. Alrighty, now we'll go to the board meeting calendar. Any additions to or changes to the regular meeting or any special meeting calendar will be discussed, and I believe we do have one.
Yes, board members, as you know, we have 2 dates that we have set aside with our facilitators to have the goal-setting retreat with myself, the board, and staff. And the 2 dates that our facilitators are available are October the 23rd, which is an evening at 5:30 p.m., or November 6th, which is another evening at 5:30 p.m. Just so you are aware, before you decide on the date, November 6th is the preferred date of our facilitators due to their heavy schedule, but I just wanted to mention that.
So we'll ask, who's available October 23rd and who's available? Are you available both days or?
I'm available both dates.
Board Member Garcia?
I think so, either day.
Okay. Board Member De Leon?
I'm available only for November 6th.
Okay. So I'm available only November 6th also. I had already mentioned it to Dr. Perez. So we would go with November 6th.
Okay.
At 5:30. Okay. Yes.
We need the motion.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so may I make a motion that we have the meeting on November 6th at 5:30 p.m. for the retreat?
I'll second.
Who made the first?
No, you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, Carmen Gomez made the motion and Vivian Hansen second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's 4-0 for
Thank you.
November 6th. Okay. So now I was informed that Viviana will be our translator for tonight's meeting. We actually need to look into doing an RFP for a certified translator because our district translators informed us that they do not wish to translate for the board meetings. So we can have that discussion after the speakers tonight. And then I also would like to bring up that I also believe that we need an RFP for the child care services during board meetings whenever requested by the public. So we can talk about those two after we hear from our speakers tonight. Okay. So now the hearing section, persons wishing to address the board should fill out a blue card located on the table by the door and submit the card to the secretary. Speakers will be called in sequence during the hearing section, which is limited to 1 hour, and each speaker to one presentation of 3 minutes unless the board wishes to waive the time limit. The board cannot engage in public discussion during this portion of the agenda. Government Code Section 54950 through 54963. Staff will follow up and address public inquiries if contact information is provided. Those who have a group concern are encouraged to select a spokesperson to address the board. Persons wishing to address the board on a specific agenda item at the time of the item is under discussion are limited to 3 minutes each and will be called to speak following the staff comments and prior to the board's discussion and taking action. I do have, we will have the code of conduct now read. I think there is recording. A recording of the code of conduct will be put right now on.
For members of the public, it is your right to participate in today's board meeting, and the board encourages such participation. However, the right of the public to address the board must be balanced with the need to ensure that public comment does not interfere with the orderly course of the board's business. All are reminded to abide by the following rules. Speakers must cease speaking immediately when their time has ended. Public comment on agenda items must relate to the subject matter of the item. General public comment is limited to subjects within the jurisdiction of the board, and public comment does not include the right to engage in a dialogue with the board members or staff. Please remain respectful of the forum since we are an educational institution for children and young adults. We ask that speakers consider refraining from uttering, writing, or displaying profane, personal, threatening, derogatory, demeaning, or other abusive statement toward the board, any member, therefore, staff, or any other person. According to Government Code Section 54954.3c, persons who desire to use the public comment period to make derogatory comments against an employee or member of the governing board enjoy no immunity from being sued for slander if the statements made are false and or damaging to reputation and spoken with malice. As for complaints against district employees, there are procedures for filing complaints, and such matters are heard in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1 and 2. If a member of the public wants a concern or complaint against an employee considered and acted upon, we suggest that the appropriate procedure be followed. Members of the audience should be respectful of the views expressed by speakers, staff, and board members, and may not clap, cheer, whistle, or otherwise disrupt the orderly conduct of the meeting. Any person engaging in conduct that disrupts the meeting is subject to being removed from the board meeting. Finally, if you witness conduct or behavior by other members of the public that disrupts your ability to remain engaged or participate in this meeting, please notify the board president or other district staff.
Okay. All righty. So now we have public comment cards. We have one, Sylvia Diaz, subject school.
My expression language in English is a little bit, it's not good, then my Spanish is way better. Then I'm going to express in Spanish if you don't mind.
Just a minute, I need to change the clock.
Buenas tardes, Presidenta Gómez, miembros de la Junta Superintendente y audiencia. Durante la reunión de la Junta Escolar del 9 de septiembre del 2019 se mencionaron los servicios brindados a los estudiantes de educación especial.
En la última junta, I'm sorry, in English. On September 9th, it was mentioned the services being given to the students of special education.
Me concentré en esa sección, especialmente en la parte en que las dos instructoras están en la clase durante las clases impartidas conjuntamente.
And what she concentrated on is on the section, especially talking about the instructors that are in class with the students, and they work conjunctionally or together.
Mi hijo asiste a los Cerritos y no he oído hablar de este programa a pesar de que estoy lo más involucrable posible.
She says that her student goes to Los Cerritos, and she has not gone to talk to them about the program, even though she is very involved as much as possible.
La Junta recibió un PowerPoint en 2014 sobre la enseñanza conjunta con la siguiente declaración de visión.
And the Board of Education received a PowerPoint presentation on 2014 about the learning.
La siguiente declaración.
And it had the following declaration.
El Distrito Escolar Unificado de Paramount se esfuerza por ser un distrito ejemplar. Para lograr esto, todos los interesados del distrito deben tener un sentido claro de sus objetivos. Me gustaría saber cuántos talleres...
Okay. So the vision that she read was regarding the Paramount Unified School District, that it strives to be a district that exemplifies, the objectives, and that to achieve this, all those interested or stakeholders in the district will have the clear objectives of what is given to them.
Deben buscar, comprender y emular las características de las escuelas ejemplares y estar listos para contribuir con sus conocimientos y talentos para transformar esta visión en realidad.
That she feels that you have to look for and to understand and emulate the characteristics of the schools that are of good example, and to be ready to contribute to the knowledge and the talents to transform the vision into a reality.
Me gustaría saber cuántos talleres de educación especial han facilitado al distrito a los padres desde el 2014.
So she would like to know, since 2014, how many workshops has the district given to the parents in special education?
El PUSD no distribuyó información a los padres para la 9ª conferencia anual el año pasado.
And that the district did not provide any information with regards to the conference of last year, which was the 9th annual, and it was for the parents.
Yeah. Según el Departamento de Educación de Estados Unidos, los estudiantes que permanecieron en aulas segregadas no solo no mejoraron, sino que empeoraron.
So, according to the Department of Education of the United States, the students that were segregated in the classrooms did not do better. They got worse.
En una reunión previa de la Junta, los oradores mencionaron que los estudiantes estaban en habitaciones sin un plan de estudios académicos estructurado, ya que los estudiantes se les permitía distraerse usando teléfonos celulares. Me gustaría ser parte de la solución como parte interesada en lugar del problema.
And she says that in the previous meeting, there were some speakers that talked about that they saw people in the classrooms that didn't have the plan of academic studies in mind, or the structure of it, and that they saw that they were allowed to be on their cellular phones, for example. And she says that she would like to be part of the solution, not to make problems.
También un miembro de la Junta se contentó con que su nieto se le dedicara que se colocara debajo de un escritorio durante un terremoto. Me gustaría saber si otros estudiantes saben cómo colocarse debajo de un escritorio en caso de un terremoto.
And she says that one of the board members talked about the grandchild that was able to go under the table when there was an emergency or an earthquake, and she would like to know if other students are prepared to do the same.
Yeah. ¿Cómo se capacita a los estudiantes con necesidades para emergencias si se requieren asistencia?
How do you prepare a student that is in special needs when they, in turn, are required to have assistance?
Pero solo un maestro está disponible en esa clase.
And only one teacher is in the classroom.
¿Cómo se protegerían los estudiantes con sillas de ruedas?
How will you help the students in wheelchairs?
Y a otros estudiantes con limitaciones físicas o eternos únicos.
Or other students that have limitations.
Gracias. Ya se le, oh, Ms. Lack, sorry. Thank you. Your time has, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Gracias. Next is Maria Parkin, Great Things at Jefferson.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Perez, board members and cabinet, and our lovely audience. I'm here to tell you about all the great things that are happening at Jefferson School.
Oh my gosh.
I had a video to show about our weekly announcements on Schoology, but at this time I'm not able to show it. Teachers can show the video throughout the day. We like it so much that I use it as a good behavioral tool. You can literally hear a pin drop as soon as I start it. The students like seeing their siblings, teachers, and friends on the big screen. They often say, "Oh, look at Mrs. Law, kinder teacher, she's famous." We value our students, and projecting videos for them on Schoology is just one way we work for the educational, social, and emotional development of our students.
Thank you, Maria. Next is Gerald Cerda, School Matters.
Good evening, President Gomez, board members, superintendent, and audience. I also would like to thank Ms. Felicia for that award that she got. Hopefully she'll get the parking in the VIP parking in the front. Also, the students from Alondra, that was really nice to have the students come out here and have exposure to the governing board. I'm going to start out with Paramount Unified School District campuses have had many students altercations, which you mentioned, taking place at West Campus and Senior Campus. The most serious took place on September 20th at Paramount High School, where dozens of students participated or became bystanders. This fight required multiple campus security, sheriff deputies, fire department, and paramedics. First responders addressed the student staff who had the OC agent sprayed when deployed by deputy to control the riot crowd control. Very effective. These incidents have been more common throughout many districts, with shootings taking place when issues are not addressed properly. The district has the talent, resources, and funds to plan ahead and develop a safe environment through policy, procedures, and regulations. Unfortunately, the system needs an overhaul since many administration policies are 30 years old, misunderstood by staff, and/or lack of leadership. It's the parents' due diligence to come out here and participate with these meetings, but I also would like to request a town hall meeting like it was mentioned earlier. And this way, like you mentioned also, Ms. President, is that we can exchange information on how to improve and make it better and to avoid these mishaps. The district office may take a stance and put all the responsibility on the parents instead of taking responsibility and being more efficient. You know, we had the students that came out here and mentioned the students encouraged the teachers to bring their lunch and sit down with lawn chairs. You know, that's participation, that's mingling together, that's something positive. And if the students are mentioning, it's something for the administrators to acknowledge. We also, one of the board members mentioned about Cancer Awareness Month and mentioned the breast cancer, but it's also wise to inform the males with testicular cancer. And they start at a teenage where they need to get examinations as well. The shakeouts coming out this October 17th, which is really good to have practice like one of the moms mentioned on what to do in case there's an earthquake. And I also want to respond to the TAP leadership about some parents coming out here and maybe not being too appealing to their standards. But it's our due diligence as taxpayers, constituents, parents to come here and exchange this information. The perception may be different from administrators. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. Next will be Carmen Vela, School Matters.
Good evening, President Gomez, board members, superintendent, and audience. We would like to mention some concerns that we as parents have observed and some have experienced during the beginning of the school year. More specifically, in Alondra Middle School orientation, 6th grade welcoming for parents, we noticed that the information was guided specifically towards general education students. One has to ask, what about students with special needs? It's understood that students have individual education plans. 504s are generated for classroom accommodations, specific curriculum, learning assistance, co-taught classes, and other plans to better aid the students with needs. Why not provide this information? Also, other school districts organize and have workshops to inform parents on special needs services. For example, Regional Center, Social Security benefits, Los Angeles County Office of Education, and special education local plan areas. Then why is Paramount Unified School District not informing parents of such events? Are parents of special needs students and special needs students being segregated? Are parents of special needs students and are services being provided in the least restrictive environment if these students are not being considered? As another incident, in August 8, 2019, in the enrollment process, there was an emergency that a parent went through, and there was no principal at the time to help with that emergency. As a parent, one has to question how confident we are in sending our special needs students to school when we see that there's loopholes in the district that is supposed to cover basic aspects of education, safe learning environment, and trained administrators, educators, and aides. If an emergency arises during this process, who is in charge if the principal is not on campus? Lately, we've spoken about how Paramount Unified School District has been in the news. And it would be beneficial to have a clear understanding on what students and staff outside agencies' responsibilities consist of when the following occurs: earthquakes, facility fires, large-scale fights, most concerning an active shooter, and other problems that may arise unexpectedly. These are incidents that can conclude with no casualties, but they can also go dire, affecting students, staff, and parents permanently. We would like to know what approved district procedures and responses are for students with special needs. Who would be responsible for a child from start to finish during an unscheduled event? Most important, how many trained CPR, automatic external defibrillators, life support, and nurses does the district currently have in each of the 19 campuses?
Thank you, Carmen. Next speaker will be Heather Van Ede, the Great Things at Jackson.
Hi. Happy Monday is what I like to always tell the kids, because Mondays are supposed to be happy. I'm just here to talk a little bit about some of the really awesome things that happen at Jackson. I'm a 6th grade middle school teacher at Jackson Middle School, which is kind of an elementary school because we have 4th through 8. But one of the things that we have at Jackson that we started a few years ago is capturing kids' hearts, and that led us to doing another program which is called Breaking Down the Walls. And Breaking Down the Walls is kind of like what it sounds, where you are able to communicate with each other and kind of break down the walls that we have, not only inside ourselves, but be vulnerable with one another and be able to be open. So last week, over 3 days, we went on block schedule, but we managed to survive it. And the Breaking Down the Walls, what are those, like sessions, went really well. We had several over those 3 days. Like I said, the block sessions, so it was 3 and 3. And then as the 6th grade teacher on Wednesday, we got to go to like an all 6th grade assembly, because some of the information that the 7th and 8th graders get, it's a little bit more advanced for the 6th graders, so they wait until they're 7th graders for them to participate. In the 7th and 8th grade session, which I unfortunately didn't get to be a part of because I was teaching 6th graders, there was a lot of things where the kids kind of stood up and apologized to each other about wrongs they'd committed and kind of aired out their dirty laundry and just kind of worked through the process. And then for the 6th grade assembly, the gentleman who does the program, his name is Dean. He, our 6th graders are a fun and energetic bunch. So he really worked with them to kind of get them interested and on board with this activity. And so one of the things that he did was he allowed them to come up, and instead of saying sorry to someone, he asked them to thank someone. So they were given the opportunity to thank an adult, to thank a friend, anyone. And we had several students, 6th graders, stand up in front of this entire class of 6th graders and speak and thank one of their teachers. One of our history teachers was thanked, and then another student was also thanked. So it was a great process for the students and for the staff to see our kids open up to each other in such an amazing way. So if you're ever around Jackson, Leona Jackson Middle School, please feel free to join us. And we love visitors there. So don't tell them I said that, though. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Next will be Shelley here, events at the high school.
So greetings, Madam President, Superintendent Dr. Perez, esteemed board members, esteemed cabinet, and our audience, which is made up of my colleagues, parents, family, and community members. I'm a teacher at the Paramount High School senior campus, and I'm coming to you with some regards I have regarding the safety on our campus also. We recently have had a few events on our campus that have placed all of us at risk, teachers, students, and administration as well. And that was the riot on September 20th, the gun that was found on campus and removed by our resource officers from the Paramount Police Department, other fights and altercations that are happening with some regularity right now. We've also had teachers who have been body checked by students, pushed down steps, threatened with scissors, scratched, grabbed, and intimidated. We have been physically and verbally threatened. We have broken up fights, put out fires, discovered students who are drinking, smoking, and using drugs on campus. So we're right there. We're in the midst of all of this. And yet we continue to persist. Our roles as teachers, counselors, support staff, and administration has greatly changed. We are now acting as parents, therapists, and security personnel who need to learn how to act with, who need to learn how to deal with angry and uncontrollable mobs, and students who need to learn how to act within societal norms. I have colleagues now who are afraid to participate in regular school events, such as things we do during school, which would be our wacky Olympics, pep rallies, and also they're concerned about doing after-school events, such as chaperoning dances, sports events, because we want to make sure that we're going to be safe. I do want to thank the new administration at our school this year for the Herculean effort that they've put in regarding the challenges we have all faced. They've been very responsive, proactive, and professional. And I do want to give a shout out to Ms. Leonard. I get to work with her more often than any of the other security or discipline people, and she's really been tremendous. But I want to say we can't do this alone, all right? We do need more support from everyone, and that's including the district and for parents also. We have received more CSPs, and I want to thank Dr. Perez for that. We're getting more CSPs on our campus, and it's something that we definitely need. And I know as a teacher, counselors, support staff, and administration, that we are responsible for our students on our campus and in your classes, but we do need more support. So I just ask that you consider this and help us get back on track. I want everyone to be comfortable coming to work, to teaching classes, participating in all school events, and it's something that will benefit us all. And I want to thank everybody for listening to me tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Shelley. Next will be Reno Rendola regarding general.
Good evening to everyone. It is so sad for the community that there are long ways to have a term limit for the school board. Unfortunately, it fails. It was supposed to be the opportunity to let other would-be talented and well-qualified newcomers to sit in the board and do some significant changes in school academics and structures. Letting other newcomers to make school changes for the good of the children is very vital. Exercising constitutional rights to freedom of expression to be in the seat of the board, and that is part of it. Based on the school board measure and the qualified superintendent contract renewal, first and foremost, must be completely away its control from local politics. The role of the superintendent must be tightly controlled by the school board, solely and entirely instructional and down to principals and teachers, based on greater centralization, along with the satisfied and enjoyed relations with the public and parents. Why superintendents and school boards must enjoy close ties with the public and parents? Because they agree to pay taxes in return. The school must perform good education to all kids and their children. It can't be denied that majority of the superintendents are in crisis due to collaborative relationship with the school board. Therefore, limit their effectiveness, and it must be stopped. Public complaints and dissatisfaction are often aimed at elected school boards and superintendents for failing to address new models and structures to better children's education. Now, we all know that California quietly published list of the poorest performing schools, and hopefully Paramount is not one of those. Thank you.
Thank you, Reno. Next will be Elevera Puletazzi. Sorry. Pronounced it probably wrong. Puletazzi. Sorry about that.
Okay. Good evening, President Gomez, Governing Board, and staff. I'm here tonight regarding a matter that concerns our whole community. In recent months, I've heard the residents of Paramount addressing as my people, my community, my gente, or mi gente, mi pueblo, specifically from one board member in particular. I would like to remind you that families served by our districts are Latinos, whites, African American, Pacific Islanders, and Asians. We are not your people. We are the people. We are the community, and many of us are a mixture of some of all of those, or all of those mixtures. And many of us are a mixture of some or all of those communities. This is also true of the employees who serve our district. As our elected leaders, it would be appreciated if you would use language that unites us and focuses on the multicultural children that you are here to serve. Like my sister, who is a student in your high school. Although we are a largely Latino community, we are more than that, and your comments should not make us or make any family served by the district feel disenfranchised because of the color of their skin or the language that they speak. Thank you. We, the voters in the city, the people that live here, are your people. Please address all of us accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Elevera. Next would be Adrian Alvarez.
The fact that people get to vote for different districts inherently recognizes that whoever gets elected serves different constituents. That's just the nature of having districts. It would be nice, if everybody saw everything the same way, and we didn't need to have different districts or represent different constituencies. But that's just a fact of life. Right now, when the president, half the Congress is trying to impeach him, and the other half doesn't see anything wrong with what he's doing. That's just the nature of politics and the democratic process. And it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. For some reason, what goes on here is seen as if we're in kindergarten or in the classroom. This is a democratic process, not for kids. This is an adult thing. And things are very serious, like evictions, like chromium in the air, like undocumented students. And those are things that cannot be discussed as we're talking between first graders. A lot of the things you mentioned, your policies, they're just that, they're policies. But there's a Constitution of the United States. And that's above everything. People have the right to express themselves in any which way they can, whether people like it or not. The First Amendment gives you the right to offend people. Some people get offended, for example, if women wear pants. Okay, but so what? That's your problem. It's not everybody's problem. Freedom of speech means you can say things that will offend people, that people don't like. And that's the nature of what's happening here. So, for example, some of us would prefer if the superintendent didn't sit up here, not because we dislike her, not because we think she's incompetent, but because it confuses a fundamental difference between those that get elected and those that get hired to implement what the elected people legislate. It just confuses people. And the thing is that I'm a teacher. I'm married to a teacher. My kids are teachers. I hunger strike for teachers. But our people, my people, the one that I'm talking about, just speaking for myself, I'm Mexican. But I have hunger strike for African-American people, for Palestinians, for Irish people. We represent everybody, but we only get to represent our communities if we're going to be true to who we are. And our community is not limited, just like Chromium-6 is not limited to Paramount. Our community is all over the place. So some of us organize everywhere, get used to it. We're not going to go away. So we're here to fight for democracy. It's not a personal thing. It's a question of justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Now we'll go to Griselda Martinez, what I think of schools for kids.
Good evening, board members and audience. My name is Griselda Martinez. I'm a parent to a 12th grader, 10th grader, 8th grader, and a 3rd grader. Wow. I am also an alumni of class of 2000. I lived here practically my entire life. My kids as well, they have all gone here to school. My last one is graduating this year. Yay, me. I really don't think the school district is a bad district. I just think that the problem in general is a lot of that represents the technology nowadays. And sometimes us as parents, we fail. We don't teach our kids how to behave because they're always on their electronics. I do think that my kids are safe in school. I've noticed it every time that we have had incidents in the high school. I have 2 of them. One is sitting here in the audience. And they're not good. They're not going to be my perfect straight A students, but I do consider my kids good students. I have never had any issues with them in school. My daughter, she was bullied her entire middle school years. I did have a lot of help from Ms. Butler, as much as I did from Ms. Hammond. They all helped me. Once they found out my daughter was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, they helped me above and beyond. I also, Ms. Roberts also helped me a lot during those years. I could confide on her. She was able to let me know how to go about with my daughter. Just the other day, October 10th, Ms. Aguilar called me from Alondra. My son was in the office. There was a conflict going on during lunchtime. I don't know what happened. His name popped out in the conversation. She called Ms. Butler. Ms. Butler told him she didn't know why his name popped out because he's a very popular kid in school. So anyways, she did try to help me in walking my son all the way to class when she didn't need to. And that's one of my prime examples of how much our staff goes above and beyond for my kids. And not only my kids, but the rest of the kids. And as of that, I just want to thank all of you guys, teachers especially. Thank you for everything you guys do. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Griselda. Sorry. So those are all the speaker cards, and now I do have to go over the answers to the questions from the September 9th board meeting. I have 3 of them. Number 1, a speaker had a question on the school campus that had a student jumping off the awning roof as follows. What has been done to avoid students from climbing or having access to the roof and jumping off the roof, or in all campuses for safety? Answer. All district schools have student policies about locations on campus where students can congregate at different times of the school day, including class time and recess. Additionally, all schools have locations for staff to provide supervision during the school day. When a student circumvents the rules and goes to a location that is not authorized, staff evaluate their process and procedures to assure that the plan is current and enforceable and implement disciplinary action as appropriate. Question number 2. A speaker had a question on a report about Lincoln School using filter system number 10 as follows. Lincoln School is using a filter system number 10, but in reality, it is filter system number 8, and how true is that? The District Maintenance and Operations Department confirmed that the district uses filters with a 10 rating. Question number 3. A speaker had another question about Chromebooks that was not pertinent to any board item as follows. Are these brought to the district with a grant, or did the district use funds to purchase these Chromes because some parents have to pay insurance? Answer. The district implemented the Chromebook deployment for students using district funds. In addition to provided Chromebooks for which the student or parent are responsible, similar to books and other instrumental materials, the district implemented 2 vehicles for volunteer device protection, an optional insurance program that covers the device against damage and loss, and a discount price for repair if the device is damaged and no insurance was required. Those are the questions and answers from the September 9th board meeting. Okay. So with that, we will go to the consent items. These items are considered routine and may be enacted by a single motion. Any items needing discussion may be moved to the appropriate section of the agenda upon request from any board member. May I have a motion to approve the consent items?
I'll move.
Linda Garcia made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Board Member De Leon made a second. Any questions, any comments? I do have a couple questions. Let me see here. On page 79, my first question would be, why are we paying stipend payments so late? I believe it's 79. What page 79? Was it 79? Yes, because it shows here that it was from August 22nd, 2018 through June 13th, 2019.
Sure.
Dr. Morales?
You would have seen Avid Site Coordinator stipends go through earlier. What we're assuming is that these were left off, so this is a catch-up. if they were not paid, but we will check into that. But that is what it looks like.
Okay, thank you. And now on page 84, 85, and 88. I just have a curiosity as to why do we have so many short-term classified personnel?
So we have short-term classified personnel for a variety of reasons. Some are to cover leaves of our employees, so they're backfilling for our employees. Some are short-term during busy seasons when the volume of work has increased. And some are short-term filling in, assisting on temporary assignments.
Okay, thank you. And on page 86, why are college tutors only effective dates are from September through January? The AVID.
For college tutors who work with the AVID program and or offer intervention, part of being a college tutor is that you have to carry college units. So their fall schedule allows them to work to this time. If we hire them back in the spring semester, they would need to provide proof of college, enrollment in college at that time as well.
Have to show enrollment, okay. And on page 92 and 93, why do we have so many classified employees leaving the district?
They have a variety of reasons that they share with us. We have a lot of instructional assistants that are in college, so their schedule may change and they're going to school at a different time, so they're not able to keep the job. They are in school, so they're upwardly mobile. They may come in as a substitute. Several times they'll give reasons they get a job closer to home if they're traveling far to get here, and or they might just get a promotion or a different job elsewhere.
I'd also like to add 2 items, and for your understanding, board members. Another is that these are classified individuals and we have employees, and we have about 1,000 of them in the district. So it looks like a lot on the page. It's about 30 individuals, but that's 30 out of 1,000 employees. Your question is most appropriate, and that's why also, if you'll note on the Wednesday report, we provide the board an explanation for each resignation.
Are we sending exit interviews to everyone? I know that was talked about earlier. Are we providing that to everyone now as they leave the district?
Yes.
Right.
And of course, it's voluntary, so they don't always return them.
Right.
How many I know we're sending them out. Are we getting some returns?
It hasn't been a big participation in doing that. There is, as I stated, a reason for leaving, so if they are moving closer to home or a school schedule, mainly what we're getting back are the responses on the actual form as far as the reason.
Would you share a copy of the form with us in the Wednesday report? We didn't see a copy of what you came up with, because you're doing it with certificated and classified, correct? Thanks.
Yeah, and we did implement something that we added, something new at the request of a board member, so that we could capture more information from them, as well as ideas and constructive criticism that would help us to improve our services.
Great, thank you. And then maybe quarterly we could get a compilation of the reasons or whatever.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I also have another question on page 98, which is for 3.1C, but on page 98 for the speech pathologist. We are going into our 3rd month of school. The concern is having to address this issue over and over again. Agencies, SPL, which is speech language pathology, hires were made in May, June, and again in last month in September. To address this continuously makes me think that we are spinning our wheels on a problem and not getting to the bottom of the outsourcing issue at all. There are monies already allotted for agencies for speech pathology in May through June for 2019 and 2020. Then a new request was made in September, And now again, there is another request for more monies in October. I am assuming that the monies already allotted for a certain number of positions before. If speech language pathology people came and left between this period, why isn't the remaining monies being used? And why is there a request for more money?
Board members, if you recall, there was a question that came up about the availability of speech pathologists in the past as well as others. And I would like to, before I turn it over to our special ed department to answer this, I'd like to be able to bring that information to you all so that maybe it can be read out if it is a concern in the community about our need to be able to fulfill the individual education plans for our special needs students. As you see, students come to us during the year at different times. They move into the district, and some just come to us from NPS schools, and we have to find an NPS schools. It's so varied, the need of our students. So we focus on being able to immediately provide for the needs of our students. And if we do not have the personnel in place, we will definitely go to a service that will be able to provide those services for our students. Dr. Stark, would you like to add something, or Alita?
Yes, I'd like to ask Dr. Garcia to come up, because I believe this is just a transfer of services, not additional services.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I believe the question was the change in the amount for the contracts in the spring?
No, it was more than that. If speech language pathologists people came and left between this period, why isn't the remaining monies being used? And why is the request for more money?
Okay, so I think when we first do the contracts in the spring for the 1920 school year, it was based on the speech therapists that from the agencies that we were in place then. Since then, agencies, the speech and language pathologists that may have been through that agency are no longer with us, or they're not able to provide the speech and language at the grade levels or the schedule that we need. So then therefore, other agencies provide their speech and language candidates.
If they're no longer with us, can we know which agency is no longer with us? That way we can at least know who we have.
They're not necessarily they're the speech therapists that are contracted out by that agency.
Okay. And do you know how many speech language pathologists from agencies do we need in our district?
It always depends on the number of students who need the services.
Right.
But we do have a report that we can
get those numbers for you.
Resend to the board.
I think that we already received that at one point. Did we not? Did you not provide? Thank you. We've gotten that before.
Okay, I'll look it up. Okay.
The other thing is with speech and language services, as the year progresses, we also get referrals coming in. So the caseload may increase.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. Okay.
I just have a comment regarding the speech and language pathologist. That's a really great question, President Gomez, as to how many SLPs do we actually need. We know we've gone through litigation, due process, and having to reimburse parents for services that their students are required. And so it concerns me because the last time I asked as for when are we flying this position, it was on air join for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you're not going to get a lot of people to partake and try to fill out an application. How much would it cost to fly the position as long as, the position isn't filled, or the positions? How many SLPs do we actually need?
As many as students who have need for one.
Well, then what is that, 10, 20,
It doesn't
30?
matter. It's how many students need the services. You can't put a number on the number we need.
You do put a number on the number of students that have the need, because then you have a caseload. Each SLP will then have caseloads.
That's true, but you can't just say we need 10 or 15 or 20. You can't put a limit.
You do have a number. You actually do have a number.
Can this be run all the time? Can this ad run constantly?
Dr. Morales, can you address that? Because we did address this before.
We have done this over and over.
Right. So we've run it several times. We may get interested parties. They may not be qualified, or we've interviewed and they're not the caliber of people that would serve our students well based on references of how they currently perform in other places. So we try to run it a couple times a year. We don't want to be oversaturated in the market, but we find that running it several times a year to see if we can get anyone to come on board is effective. That's what we've done. We do get interest. It's just it hasn't worked out as far as the caliber or someone realizing where Paramount's located and how far it is for them.
So in other words, it's not very effective. So if we run it until it's filled, there's a possibility that we could fill the position versus running it here and there.
We can, but what you will find, and I certainly understand and appreciate your concern, the area, this particular area in special education is an area that overall, there's just a lack of qualified people that are coming from the colleges. There aren't many programs that are offered. I know there's one in Northridge that is being offered, and the number of applicants that are accepted into this program is so little. And then in addition to that, what we have found, because we have done some extensive research on this, it is our desire to have employees of this caliber working with us, but we are in competition with these service agencies because they, first of all, provide their own speech pathologists with, number one, flexible hours that they can work. They're not employees of the district, so they come in and they can leave at the time. They just come in, provide the service, and leave. They don't have to go to meetings. They don't have to be participant of anything else except the service that they provide the students. And in addition to that, they receive health and welfare benefits as well, and they receive a lot more money than what the public school systems are paying them. So it is an area that has many challenges for us to be able to grab the amount of employees that we need. And that's why we have to rely on these agencies to be able to meet the needs of our students. But we had done some research on this as it has come up before, and we'll be happy to provide it again for you in the Wednesday report so that you can see that. But I do want to assure you that as a district, it is our desire to have such employees to meet the needs of our students. When a student has an individual education plan, it is our responsibility to meet the needs of our students. If we can't do it with an employee, we will go to a service, which is what other districts do as well when you don't have that. But there is nothing like having your own employee that could provide consistency of services, that could be a part of the school culture and the school system, that parents could get to know. We realize the value in having, an employee like that, and it is our desire to do that. And we will continue to do everything that we can to try to get these individuals. But not remembering exactly, what we said about flying that position, we will get that information for you, board members, and send it again. And we will make sure that we continuously advertise for this position because we do share your concern.
Yes, because I noticed that for the County of Los Angeles, when they put up a job posting, they leave it up there and say until job is filled. So I was wondering if we do put it on EdJoint, can we leave at least one of them? Because I know we have several job postings, but one for the whole year and not just for a certain amount of time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we will do that.
Okay. And then I have a question on 114. We're going to the budget now, to the 4.1C. The 14,000 for the fire alarm testing, is that district wide or is that only for certain schools?
Mr. Frutos?
This is the annual for the entire district,
Entire district, okay.
and it is mandated.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And let's see, just make sure. Alrighty. Anyone else have any questions?
No, but Mr. Fructes, can you remind me the time that is going to happen on Thursday?
The time that the alarm testing will
Yeah.
happen. And let me glance forward to see.
Yeah.
10/17
on the 17th. Okay.
No, we do it too everywhere. Okay. So none, all in favor?
No, I have a
Oh, sorry,
question.
go ahead.
I have a comment.
Sorry.
I'm just trying to find my
Sure,
page.
sure, sure.
Sorry, I was going to pages. This is about you, Manuel.
Uh-oh.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I'm happy for you. I just hope that, you enjoy your retirement, and it's always been a pleasure working with you. And I know you're going to be around for a few months, but I really want to vote no on this particular item, but there we go.
You cannot retire.
Yeah, I know, but you'll be around in case we need you for anything, right? You're not going to move way far away. I know. It runs in our veins, I know. And before we take a vote, would you tell me who moved and seconded that, because I had to...
Sure. The motion was made by Linda Garcia and second by Board Member Sonia De Leon.
Thank you.
Any other questions or any other comments? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion 4-0, motion passed. Consent items. Now we'll go to action items. These items are presented for action at this time. Some may have been reviewed by the board at a previous meeting under a conference items section of the agenda. So now we'll go to the general services, 1.1A. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, 1.1A, revised board policy 3510, maintenance and operations of district facilities. Staff recommended accept the second reading and adopt proposed revised board policy 3510, maintenance and operations of district facilities, renamed green school operations. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That was Vivian Hansen. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Sonia De Leon. Any questions, any comments? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Motion passed for 1.1A. Now we'll go to Human Resources, 2.1A, 2019-2020 Declaration of Need of Fully Qualified Educators. Staff recommendation, approve the 2019-2020 Declaration of Need of Fully Qualified Educators in Paramount Unified School District for submission of the California Commission on Teachers credentialing. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That was Linda Garcia made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That was Board Member De Leon. Sonia De Leon. Any questions, any comments? That's on page 128. None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. 2.1A passed. Now we'll go to 2.2A, internship program agreement with California State Polytechnical University Pomona. Staff recommendation, ratify the agreement with California State Polytechnic University Pomona for participation in the internship program. May I have a motion? That was Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That Linda Garcia made a second. Any questions, any comments? None so, all in favor? Aye. 4-0. 2.2A passed. Now we're going to Educational Services, 3.1A, Memorandum of Understanding with Public Schools Arts. Staff recommendation, approve the Memorandum of Understanding with Public School Arts to provide a performing arts residency at Los Cerritos and Zamboni schools. May I have a motion?
I'll second.
That would be Vivian Hansen made the motion and Linda Garcia made a second. Any questions? Any comments? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed. 3.1A. We're going to 3.2A, Barona Education Grant Award. Staff recommendation, accept the Barona Education Grant Award for the purchase of a literacy footprints intervention partner kit with Theodore Roosevelt School. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That was Linda Garcia made the motion. May I have a second? That would be Vivian Hansen. Any questions, any comments?
I have a question on page 152.
152.
Number 6, which is 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19. That's that math score. Just explain to me what that means, please.
Where's
So,
she?
are we there yet?
Oh,
Are we on that item yet?
Need to right up there, number 6.
I think that's the next item.
It's up here.
Oh,
It's me. I'm sorry. Page 152, number 6,
Are we there?
where it says 16, 17, 17, 18.
So the explanation for that is they need that back, those 3 years of test scores, so that they can do a correlation study to see if the amount of time the students completed ST
But it says
math.
16, 17.
There's a dash missing.
Is it?
Oh, it's 16.
missing.
Yes.
It should be 16/17.
17,
17/18,
thank you.
18/19.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I kept looking at that
We're going
going,
back a
wait
few
a minute.
centuries here.
There we go. Yeah, because it says 16, 17, comma. All right, there we go. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussions? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed. 3.28. Going to 3.38, Memorandum of Understanding with Mind Research Institute. Staff recommendation, approve the MOU with the Mind Research Institute to conduct a study of ST math completion and SBAC math outcomes. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That was Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That'll be Linda Garcia made the second. Any questions, any comments? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everybody said aye? I didn't
Aye.
hear.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's okay. Motion passed 4-0, 3.3A. Now we're going to 3.4A, attorney fees and settlement agreement for the special education staff. Staff recommendation, approve and authorize payment for attorney fees and settlement agreement for special education student. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That was Linda Garcia made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That would be Vivian Hansen made the second. Any questions, any comments? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
4-0, motion passed 3.4A. 3.5A, non-public school placement for special education students for 2019-2020. Staff recommendation, approve the placement of special education students in non-public schools as determined by the student's individual education plan for 2019-2020 school year. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Was that Linda Garcia?
Yes.
Okay, Linda Garcia made the motion. May I have a second? May I have a second? No? I will second. Any questions, any comments? If none, so I do have a comment. Do we know why one of these is closing due to the closure of Long Beach campus? Do we know why Long Beach City's Learning Center closed?
We're going to have to defer to Dr. Garcia here.
That's a separate contracting agency, and for whatever reason, they decided to consolidate their locations and just operate one of them. They do operate several different ones throughout Southern California, from what we understand.
So they just consolidate those two. Okay. I wonder if it's attendance. Okay. Any other questions, any other comments? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Linda, did Linda say aye? I didn't hear.
Aye.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Motion passed 4-0, 3.5A. Now we're going to 3.6A, Arts Education Collective Advancement Grant Award. Staff recommendation, accept supporting documents for previously approved Arts Education Collective Advancement Grant Award, previously approved on August 12, 2019, to provide K through 5th grade students with performing arts instruction from September 2019 through June 2020. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That would be Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That'd be Linda Garcia, is that correct? Okay. Any questions, any comments? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 4-0, 3.6A. Now we're going to 3.7A, Saturday School Program for 2019-2020 school year. Staff recommendation, approve the Saturday school the school program for grades 6 through 12 from the 2019-2020 school year to recapture lost instructional time. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That would be Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second, but I do have a question on that.
Any questions, any comments?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
On that Saturday school instructional program, will they be actually studying something? Because we've had incidences before where they just go into the cafeteria and they're watching a movie or they're on their phones. They're not actually doing any type of work, makeup work.
I think it'd be a good idea to just kind of pop in on Saturdays.
Well, that's happened. I have popped in. That's why I know that.
Yeah.
And I've heard the same thing, so.
So, I mean, is there...
Dr. Smith, would you
I mean,
address that?
if not, there's no sense in having it.
I agree.
Yeah.
The expectation would be that they're working on schoolwork and other academic pursuits, so they shouldn't be watching movies or playing around on their phone.
And how will we be reassured of that?
But we'll talk with the site administration about monitoring that.
That'll be there on the Saturdays.
Yeah. If that's a concern, we'll address it.
Is there any other supervision that we can make sure that that doesn't happen? Because I've heard the same thing, and so that is my concern also. And I heard board member Hansen just said it also. So
yeah, I
three
popped
board
in one
members.
time, but they were all working.
I've popped in, and
yeah, I popped in,
they're
but
not
I
doing
happened
any
to
work.
pop in at a
They're
time
just
when-
there having a good time.
Yes.
On a Saturday morning.
We will ensure that there is academic instruction or work that is being done in there. I can assure you of that. And working with the new administration and leadership there, we will ensure that that is taking place.
Also, I would like to see the data of the last 5 years of Saturday schools, the attendance for the Saturday school.
What specific data would you like to see?
Oh, this is just for one day?
What
year.
specific data do you want to see related to Saturday school?
Oh, the same data here. How many makeup days are we having?
No, we get this report every year, so it should be easy to pull.
Okay.
This is always in the board minutes. Should be easy to pull for
Is it
5 years.
I would imagine, board members, that it's the number of attendance makeup days?
Correct. For the same.
For the year?
Yes, exact for 5 years.
No problem.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Any other concerns? No?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
What's the teacher ratio per student? Like, is it 30 students per one teacher, or is it, how is this composed, Saturday school?
Dr. San Miguel, what ratio do we currently work with?
We usually have at least 2 to 3 teachers, and they're about anywhere between 25 and 40 students. And they are asked to bring their work with them, and teachers do supervise them, but knowing what we just heard, we will definitely make sure that having our administration also make sure I about the students not doing what they should be doing as far as the work that they're supposed to be doing. So, first time I heard about it, but again, we will definitely make sure that that's not.
Thank you.
With that said, yeah, we have 2 to 3 teachers, and it really depends on the numbers that we get, because we have to know beforehand how many students are going to be attending, and we get that list from the schools, and then based on that list, we staff it accordingly. We staff the teachers accordingly. So anytime we get up to 40 students, we have at least 2 teachers.
In addition to the 2 teachers, I believe that we need to just ensure that there is an administrator on campus.
And there is.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah, there's always been one.
Yeah. Any other questions, any other comments? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed. 3.7A. Now we'll go to 3.8A, AG Edunity online courses. Staff recommendation, approve AG Edunity online courses at Adult School Diploma Lab, Buena Vista High School, Independent Study Program, Paramount High West Campus, and Paramount High School. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That's Linda Garcia made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That'll be Vivian Hansen made the second. Any questions, any comments? That's on page 169. None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed. 3.8A. Now we're going to 3.9A, Workforce Investment Act, Title II, Adult Education and Family Literacy Act Grant Award. Staff recommendation, accept the Workforce Investment Act, Title II, Adult Education and Family Literacy Act Grant Award for the 2019-2020 school year. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That'll be Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That'll be Linda Garcia made the second. Any questions, any comments? None so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 4-0. 3.9A. Now we'll go to 3.10A. Memorandum of Understanding for Los Angeles County Office of Education for participation in Community School Initiative. Staff recommendation, approve the Memorandum of Understanding with the Los Angeles County Office of Education for participation in Community Schools Initiative. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, so that'll be Board Member Sonia De Leon and then Board Member Linda Garcia made the second. Any questions, any comments?
Incredible. This is incredible. I'm just so looking forward to this, and I wanted to thank Manuel for all the hard work that you've done. Dr. San Miguel, excuse me. Thank you ever so much. I'm really looking forward to this.
Absolutely. I just had one question. I think I said the same question last time, which I believe we were looking into. Out of the 10 million, how many, do we know how much money each school will be receiving?
District.
Or district?
No, we don't. I don't think they know yet.
Well, I know they don't split it equally, but I was just wondering how much Paramount's getting. Okay. 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 Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions, any other comments? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 4-0, motion passed. 3.10A. Now we'll go to 3.11A, contractual amendment agreement with Juliana Madiana, Life Mentor Program Consultant. Staff recommendation, approve the contract amendment of Life Mentor Program Consulting update to reflect Juliana Madiana instead of Life Mentor Program as the consultant, and authorize business staff to update the finalized all necessary paperwork and necessary documents. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That'll be, Board Member Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Board Member Garcia made a second. Any questions, any comments? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 4-0. 3.11A. Now we'll go to business services. 4.1A, notices of completion field service contracts. Staff recommendation, accept as completed the field service contracts as listed above and authorize the superintendent or designee to file the notice of completions and make payment to all contractual parties upon expiration of the lien period and determination that no liens are outstanding. May I have a motion? None, so I'll make the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That'll be Linda Garcia made the second. Any questions, any comments? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed 4-0. 4.1A. We'll go to 4.2A, ratification bid summary kitchen supplies. Staff recommendation to approve the mentioned contracts to the lowest responsive bidders as identified on page 191. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yes, Board Member Garcia made the second. Any questions, any comments? I do have one question, and that is, how long is the contract for?
This is an annual contract, and we go as far as the supplies will last us, because this is for a specific department, and it's part of their inventory. And if for whatever reason the meal count goes up, which we would like, we'll come to you sooner. If our meal count goes down and the utilization is reduced, it'll last us longer.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed 4-0. 4.2A. Now we'll go to 4.3A, the Active Network Blue Bear Cloud Annual Maintenance and Software. Staff recommendation, approve the Active Network Agreement effective July 1st, 2019 to 2020 for all high school ASBs and other campuses for appropriate within Paramount Unified School District. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That would be Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
That would be Board Member Garcia. Any questions, any comments?
I have a comment. Last year's audit, first time, ASB didn't have a condition put on it of some kind. It was because of this and because of the training that you provided to staff. Thank you. It's always been an issue.
That's right.
This has
That
worked
was
out
an
well.
issue.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments or any questions? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 4-0. Motion passed. 4.3A. Now we're going to 4.4A. Agreement Transportation Service Study Taxi Services. Staff recommendation, authorize staff to conduct study of transportation services and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents. May I have a motion?
Move.
That was Linda Garcia made the motion. May I have a second? I'll second it. Any questions, any comments? I do have a question. I know board member Hansen sent in some questions, but I did have a concern of, it says, how long is the research and when is the due date on the research?
Mr. Frutos?
I believe they can do this research in as little as a few weeks.
But do we have a date? No?
President, we don't have a date because once we give them scope, we are going to talk about a few items. For example, they would need to be guided as to how many samples of parents and clients we would want and how many companies they would contact. So there's a little bit of flexibility, but normally these type of studies are done and presented back as a report like the others we've done, Provalsky, et cetera, within a couple of months.
Okay.
So once we have those meetings with them, Mr. Frutos, let's establish a timeline for this study to send to the board in a Wednesday report.
Thank you. Also, I'm assuming, which I know I'm assuming we received 3 bids for the research. What?
We received 2 bids.
2 bids, okay. So what made this one stand out versus the other one?
And I'm going to, maybe I'll miss something, so I'm going to ask Cindy to join me if necessary,
Sure.
but let me get it started.
Okay.
So we have 2 companies out of 3 or 4 that we contacted that all have experience in transportation planning, transportation program review, and basically looking at not just the logistics of routing, but all the aspects of a transportation program. This company appeared to have more in-depth analysis and just what appeared to be better research methods to provide us an analysis of our current program, comparative analysis to other programs, and surveying of our current and future needs as we had discussed before. Cindy, keep going.
And this is just taxi service they're going to review, correct?
Bus and taxi, our
Bus
entire
and taxi.
transportation program.
For the entire, thank you.
The program is an evaluation of the taxi versus
The bus for special ed. That's what I thought. For PAT and for K, pre-K, special ed, that's what we're reviewing. Thank you. For $32,000.
And adult transition.
And adult transition for $32,000. Because we've gotten complaints from 2 parents. Thank you.
A lot of money.
Share with you, you did ask the question of why did the vendors stand out? Excuse me, we may remember long ago, prior to 2011, we had a transportation services company that did our routing, and this company is that company. And so they have familiarity with our district, and we actually received a discounted price as a result of that because the footwork and knowing our ins and outs, our expectations, ended up having them be the prevailing provider, recommended.
I just have one concern. I mean, we do need the research because it was done in 2012. However, it states on the last sentence here on page 200, R&D may provide additional consulting services after the report is presented to the district for hourly rate noted at $150 extra per hour. Now, what would that consist of? I mean, why would we bring them back? Or, I mean, I don't know.
Again, I can get it started and then I'll turn it over to Cindy. When you have a transportation consultant, the board might look at a report and let's say that there is something additional that needs to be done. Just to throw an example, that we manage the routes through a geographic system, which some transportation authorities do. That's not included here. They have to add it. So it's like any other consultant. If more is asked, they typically give you a cost per hour for any additional service.
And this is the best they can do for us. Since this is the discounted price that, because they were. Okay.
We actually had a pretty firm discussion with them about our familiarity and is there $32,000 down to $29,300, recognizing that some of that basic footwork is done.
Okay.
So I do want to share with you that that is a little bit of, I think, cooperation from the vendor, recognizing their relationship with the school district. They worked with us for over 10 years.
So the last time they reviewed something was not 2012 that they reviewed this? I thought I saw you like thinking maybe there was a time since 2012 this has been looked at by this company?
No.
It has not.
Since then. Actually not ever. We had the program that they supported us with this. They actually did the routing of the students.
Oh, the routing to begin with.
For us,
Okay.
for the large minibuses, because that takes a lot more sophistication. They use the software, and they were also acting as our call center. And then they also did one other piece, and that was to try to look at efficiencies. And then they had a shared savings agreement with the district. And so they do have a keen eye on being efficient. And so that's what somewhat led us to have the discussion about capable folks.
Great.
And there's a small group of them. And many districts are looking at things right now. So the third company and fourth company couldn't participate because they're overcommitted. It's just a small world, but a good retirement.
So Cindy, if there were complaints coming in from parents, they would come into your office first, correct?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Where else would they be?
It could be to special ed because it's a special ed parent, but it usually escalates to me and we have a discussion. And it's very, very small.
I would ask the same thing of Dr. Garcia then. Well, you haven't been in this position for a very long time, but complaints from parents of special ed students about taxis? So there aren't a lot of complaints, is what you're saying? Or are you saying there are many complaints or concerns?
To be very honest with you, there are very few.
So for a parent who's concerned that a van or a car is not large enough, if they were to point that out to you, would you take care of something like that?
Absolutely. We have the flexibility
Have you had
those changes overnight. It's close, it's central, and we're able to make changes. Another example might be two children, just don't sit well together. We'll make a change. We've gone to such an extent that, let's say, a parent has said that, they would ask if we could take the child in the afternoon to grandma's house, and she lives in Paramount School District. In other words, we try to be super flexible, and this very small program allows us to be able to do that.
I had another question. I'm trying to think what it was. Another parent made a comment that there was not door-to-door service any longer. Is that true? And if it isn't door-to-door, how else would it be handled? Okay, say it again. I'm sorry. Okay.
And there's one other place as well. We also have corner bus stops and taxi stops. And so as I indicate, that increased independence might lend you to having 4 children at one stop. And there's remarkable fellowship that happens in those small groups.
So the IEP could say that the student could go to the corner, would be approved by the parent.
And there'd be somebody there immediately that would be with those students? But they do pick
like
up
if they have an aide, how would that work?
If the student is being picked up at the bus stop, then it depends if the student is old enough and developmentally if they can handle that kind of responsibility. The parent does need to do a release form saying that they can leave, if the taxi were to take them to the house, if there's an adult that needs to greet that taxi driver, the student can just go on their own. The parent needs to sign that release.
But the question we had here at the last study session was, like Board Member Hansen mentioned, that there was a parent that said that he had home-to-home, but for some reason, the beginning of the school year, they didn't send him home. They sent him to the corner. And so the parent was very upset that they didn't bring him home-to-home because his IEP did say home to home.
That is something that we would look into, and I think we resolved any of that from the beginning of the year. It could have been miscommunication.
Yeah, there is a student down the street from me where they pick him up at his home.
At his home. That does happen.
Yeah, we do have that.
Yeah. Have we ever done a survey of parents to find out if they have concerns? Have we ever done anything like that?
Well, actually,
Just wondering.
we haven't done a survey, but the contrary actually occurred, that parents really have come to have a sense of belonging to this program because it's so much different than the minibus. We did a presentation at ASCIP, our loss control folks, because other school districts like Downey, like Bellflower, much of the South Bay does 100% taxi as we do. And the reason why is because it just took so long to get there. And you guys know all the details of 17 children on a bus and all the stops, hot, et cetera, et cetera. Here we have much smaller groups. And when we did the presentation at ASCIP, besides it being 15 minutes or less, the children are calm, air-conditioned, seat-belted, and they have a relationship and rapport. The parents actually have the cell phone number of the driver, so they can make a connection. So that safety comfort has really gone very, very far. When we did a presentation at ASIC prior to Dr. Garcia joining special ed, Dr. David Daly, our former director, had spoken. Excuse me.
Sorry.
And as he shared about teachers don't have the problems, principals don't have the discipline issues in the office, the kids actually get home and there's not fights. But the last thing that he said was, we'd have a hard, thank you so much. He said we would have a hard time taking away this service because that's how much parents really appreciate that communication. And the communication is, I get a notification if my time's going to change. I have a connection with my taxi driver. There's special rules. They can't text and drive. Of course, they can't do any communications while they're driving. But there's some good safety links that we've also learned and refined from our summer pilot that we did.
Could we probably put this on hold and do a survey with the parents? Because I've had 5 parents already call me, and especially one very angry, which I'm like, oh my God, the parent stood an hour on the phone with me, and it's like, okay, want to know what I did, and all this is on transportation. So I would feel more comfortable before we approve this, or take it to vote rather. We're not approving anything. We're taking a vote. Is to do a survey to the parents and then bring it back to the board and tell us what the results were.
I have a question. So when somebody calls you with a complaint like that, do you go to the superintendent and let them know that she could follow up on it? Did you do that with these 5 parents?
No, because I told the...
Did you do that with these 5 parents?
Let me answer.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I told them, just like we were here at the last meeting, that they need to go to the teacher, the principal, the vice principal, the principal, and then Dr. Perez.
Did they do that?
I'm assuming they did.
Yes.
Thank you. And that's why they didn't call me back.
Yes.
One recommendation, if the board were to direct us, superintendent and us to do a survey, we would recommend that we look at these companies to frame the survey, just to make sure that staff don't ask the questions that are not necessary. And we would probably come back to the superintendent like we did with the other survey with some sample questions to make sure that everything is addressed. Just want to make sure.
I think that's a waste of time. I think you guys could come up with a quick survey and give it to all parents. You know what you want to know. It costs money.
Whatever is the board's pleasure, we will do.
We can make up the questions. That's fine. But I would like a survey done.
And that doesn't have to cost anything. There's
Survey Monkey.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Absolutely.
Survey Monkey.
Right. So I would make the recommendation that we not vote on this tonight and do a Survey Monkey or some type of a survey. There's Qualtrics, there's all these other ways to do surveys, our own survey, and then bring it back to the board and let us know what the results were.
So my suggestion, though, before we do that, we have a second. We have a motion and a second. I think we should vote on this and
correct.
Do whatever.
Correct. So all those in favor? All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. So motion did not pass, 0-4. However, I would like to make a motion that we do a survey, our own survey, and then for the administration to bring it to the board. May I have a motion?
You made the motion, right?
Okay, right. Yes.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any questions, any discussions? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Linda?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Okay, so motion passed 4-0 to do our own survey and bring back the results to the board. Okay, thank you. Now we go back to 4.58, 2019-2020 budget adjustments as August 31st, 2019. Staff recommendation, approve the 2019-2020 budget adjustments for the general funds, unrestricted and restricted adult education fund, child development fund, cafeteria fund, deferred maintenance fund, and Measure I fund. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, that'll be Vivian Hansen made the motion and Linda Garcia second. Any questions, any comments? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed. 4.58. Now we're going to 4.6A, Mike Cross, organizational consultant, staff recommendation, authorize the agreement with Mike Cross, consultant, and authorize the superintendent designate to execute all necessary documents. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Linda Garcia made the second. Any questions, any comments? None, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 4.0, 4.6A. Now, information items. These items are intended to keep the board informed on various district business matters that do not require formal action by the board.
Okay, board members, you have a few items under information. One is a report on local indicators in LCAP. It's an extensive presentation for you, and with trends and progress on certain indicators, as well as focus areas for improvement that we will be working on as a district. Secondly, we have another information item for you related to the Williams Settlement Quarterly Uniform Complaint Summary, and that is provided for you with a total of 0 items that are out of compliance. Thank you, Dr. San Miguel, for your quality work on this every time. And also, board members, there are a few financial items here. One is information item 4.1I, the monthly financial statements for the month of September for revenues in excess of $100,000 are listed for you, followed by the financial statements for each fund. Information item 4.2I is the monthly financial statement for special education for the month of September. Revenues received in excess of $100,000 are listed for you, followed by the financial statement. And information item 4.3I is the monthly financial statement for the self-insurance fund, followed by contributions for the month of September, which are listed for you, followed by the financial statement. Just check. And I believe those were all the, yes, those were all the information items. Thank you, board members.
Okay. So with that, any announcements? Our next regular meeting is Tuesday, November 12th at 6 p.m., the boardroom of the district. After that, it's staff employee comments per Government Code 54957. Prior to the closed session as necessary, staff employee comments are taken per Government Code 54957. If none, we close the meeting at 9:07. Now we're going to go to closed session. In closed session for October 14, 2019. Number 1, conference with labor negotiator per Government Code 54957.6. District negotiator Myrna Morales, CSEA and TAP. Second, number 2 is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation per Government Code 54956